Good evening, everyone. I am Mark, your fat friend,
And I'm James, your black friend,
and this is the Fat and Black Connection.
where we talk about anything and everything. Well, as long as it's interesting to us.
That's right, because if it's interesting to us, you should pay attention.
At 100.
So, James, it is this is Wednesday. We are back to 8 p.m. And it is 8:03 p.m. Pacific on the left coast, and it is September 13th.
13.
How you doing?
Good.
Why are you whispering?
I don't know.
Yeah, you're weird. So it's been another week, and
Oh,
this is as a reminder, this is a live and interactive broadcast. What does that mean?
that means we are live. That means we are interactive. So we want your questions, your answer, or actually not really your answers, but we at least want your questions and your thoughts on a particular topic, if you
Yeah.
will.
So whether you're watching on Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, whatever you might be watching on, for the thousands and thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, we're here, we're live, and we have a live guest that will be with us shortly,
Yeah. And Brian's not dead.
and Brian Hobbs checking in. Our
I'm
damn
not dead.
not dead, not
That's
yet.
that's good.
He's getting married in about 2 months, so that'll be the now dead. Um, Brian asked James, "What's up with the digital hacks in Vegas?"
Huh? Oh.
You've heard about them, right? Everything going on with MGM and their
Oh
properties.
yeah. Oh, that was yeah. I was like, well, I don't work for them. I don't know. I did. Yeah, that's what I was like. What digital hacks? But then, I did hear about the ones that happened at MGM and stuff like that. So, apparently, people are so inconvenienced. I have to go make reservations in person. What?
Yes, it is. It is an interesting time. That is one of the pitfalls of technology, though.
Yeah, I mean,
But
as long as you can get in your, I mean, oh, you might have to actually carry a key card and not be able to use your phone for it. Oh my gosh.
yeah, but one of the benefits of technology when it is working is we're able to engage and interact with people around the world. Tonight's
Around
guest,
the world.
who we'll be bringing in a little bit, is the voice of the librarian from Murphy's Inc. Uh,
Live.
yes, Kaz Chandler coming to us live tonight from
Costa
Costa Rica.
Rica.
So we will bring her in just a little bit. So stick around for that. And until then, James, you drinking anything fun or interesting tonight?
Yep. Well, tonight I have from Ace. This is a limited released craft cider, but it's pumpkin. No, oh, here we go. I don't know if you can see that quite well
Okay,
because of the
yeah.
light. But and then I'm actually I'm going to be pouring some Captain Morgan Jacko Blast in it.
Jacko Blast.
So some pumpkin rum with pumpkin cider, I guess. I don't know.
Interesting.
It says it's gluten free, it's vegan, and no sugar added. So it's they're actually kind of delicious. I'm not gonna lie. I've had like a couple of them. So
Yes, I'm sure there's no sugar added, but it probably has tons of natural sugar.
of course,
And I will be drinking Sam Adams Oktoberfest.
of course.
Basic, but it's that time of year. Got to enjoy it.
That's what I was gonna. I need to go back over to. I need to go back over to what's call it to get some more of that Jack, whatever the Sam Adams Jack O Lantern one, whatever that was.
Yeah, I don't know what it's called because I don't know where you're talking about, but
No, the beer that I bought, the pumpkin beer that I bought from
Total
Wine. Yeah,
Gotcha.
and then I'm drinking from our 97 by 97 to now glass.
Very nice. And that is squeaky and annoying. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it right in my ear hole. Anyways, I thought let's start the show off by talking about an important thing that we're going to be talking about a lot over the next 11 plus months. And do you know what that is, James?
We're talking about Kaboom Con.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Kaboom Con 2024 coming to the Carson City Community Center September 7th, 2024, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. $10. And if you're under 10, it's free.
$10.
So it's it's a heck of a deal. We've got some exciting updates to talk about tonight in regards to the con. It's going to be great. It is, and this is the important thing. This is the first ever comic convention in the capital city of Nevada, Carson City.
Capital City.
Yes. So I'm sorry. Are you going to mix them?
Oh yeah. K.
Have you had either of them individually?
Not this one. I did a sip of this one before, and it
Okay.
was okay. It tasted it tasted more like an apple, or it tasted more like a cider to me, and so I was like, I mean, and with a little hint of pumpkin, but this kicks it up a little bit.
Take it up a notch, huh?
Oh yeah.
All right. So we did announce the art contest. We announced it before, but now we've put some more information out there about it, if you will. And so I'm going to just read directly from our page what it says. So uh, we announced our art contest. There will be three categories: children, which is up to 12 years old, youth, 13 to 17, and adults 18 plus. The theme for art pieces should be first edition humble beginnings. James, what does that mean? First
That
edition humble beginnings.
we're looking for origins, baby. Like I think the examples that we've already used was, I said I went the lighter route and said like, Superman, little Clark Kent running through the cornfields or something, learning he can jump high. And then Mark went the darker route by young Bruce Wayne in Crime Alley next to his dead parents. So,
Yeah.
you could go the Flash getting hit by lightning and with all the chemicals hitting him, and yeah, that could be fun too.
And there's lots of different origin stories for a lot of these characters. So you could use any of them or you could create a unique original too.
That's
So
true.
have
Jubilee blowing up a video game machine.
yeah, and ultimately it's up to the artist's interpretation.
And listen,
So
if it's not, I mean, we want it to be. That's the theme, but I mean, I guess don't go too far off script.
well, yeah, because part of the judging by the judges that we'll have is how well did they follow, the
The
theme.
theme. Yeah.
So go on to say all submitted pieces should not be smaller than 8.5 by 11 and should not be larger than 16 by 20 in size. And that of course does not include any framing.
Yeah.
We do recommend that these pieces should be framed so that they're protected, and the piece must be signed by the artist.
Sign it, people.
Your submitted piece needs to be turned in no later than August 25th of 2024. So you've got lots of time to get to work. We will have a registration page where you'll be able to go and sign up and say that you're interested. It'll give us your contact info so that we can reach out to you with more information, such as where you can turn in your art pieces as you're finishing them. There will be one winner per category. So one in each of the three categories, and you'll receive a custom trophy as well as additional prizes, likely in the vein of cashola.
Cash money.
So
Dollar bills, y'all.
I'm excited to see some of the pieces that I think will come from this. There seems to be a lot of interest in this contest. So, and anyone can participate as long as they're not a judge.
Yes. I mean, even then, like their art won't be their art is probably way too above par, therefore can't be judged because we want good stuff.
So next up, we announced that the Reno Video Game Symphony is coming to KaboomCon, and they will be opening the event with a live performance. So the doors will open at 10 a.m. and boom, Video Game Symphony is going to be there playing for the first hour 15, putting on a fun set of music. So this is the kind of the blurb they gave me. Reno Video Game Symphony is a nonprofit educational band program that uses video game soundtracks to promote the arts in Northern Nevada.
Yo, how do we get some?
I wasn't done.
Oh, my bad.
Our organization consists of an orchestra, jazz band, and full choir of musicians of all skill levels. The Reno Video Game Symphony Jazz Band is an advanced ensemble which takes songs from a wide variety of video games and adds a jazzy twist.
Okay. I want
So
that. Give me that Mario Brothers jazz style.
that is a thing. So I'm sure they can probably crank that out. So next up,
Yo, actually, before we go, can we get? How do we get them to sheet music for our theme song so they can play that? I want to hear that jazzed up.
yeah, I don't know about that.
That'd be awesome.
So next up, we've got Mama's Arts.
Zzz. Hard
They
Z.
Arts. They'll be joining us as a vendor. Their website is not open. It is grand reopening in 2 days.
That's right. Yeah,
9/15.
That's right.
Next up, we got Cosmic Cuddles.
I'm sure that's what them little pillow pet things, pillow pet type deals.
Probably. They do hand crocheted plushies. And of course, our friend Tyrus said, if they got anything Dragon Ball, I'm sold. And the
nerd,
the owner of Cosmic Cuddles said, they'll be on my list. So
nerd. So
now Tyrus has to buy them.
Exactly.
Next up, this is a well-known nerddom in Carson, Kobold's Keep. This group is known for their events and activities that they have throughout the week with, different tournaments and magic and all of that kind of fun stuff. And they're also a place you can go to purchase all of your tabletop games, RPGs, board games, so on and so forth.
That's pretty dope because I haven't seen a place that does like those tournaments. Well, at least since I left the Bay. So,
well, they certainly do. And as a reminder, this is live and interactive. So let us know your thoughts, your comments.
Give me your thoughts.
Next, we've got Butterfly Dark Creations. They currently have an Etsy store where you can find fantasy-inspired clothing, accessories, and decor. And I checked out their Etsy store. A lot of cool stuff.
Okay.
This image doesn't really give much away, except here's the thing. The name of this business is literally Buried Under Cards and Comics, where they will be selling comic books, trading card game singles, mostly Magic the Gathering, and trading card game sealed products.
I just don't see any. I don't see any comics in there. So I mean, it's
they're there.
They're under the card. They're under the cards.
Yes.
That's covering the person.
Exactly.
Okay.
Next up, we have Jade Griffin, author, illustrator, Creative Firestorm.
I don't know what Creative Firestorm means, but that name is dope.
Right. So Jade is coming, and I'm sure we'll have her books there and available. What do you guess the name of this one is?
Golden Flower.
Close. Golden Rose.
Oh, sorry. Rose.
Yes. So they will be joining us as well. I'm not exactly sure what they have. They do have a link to an Instagram where there is some. It looks like original pieces, original artworks, and it does look like they do commissions.
Oh,
so,
all right.
So it'll be nice to have
another
actual
commission
artists there. And then last but not least for this week, we got Jackie Turner confirmed, another author who has books for young adults, middle grade children, and adults. So,
writes them all.
Yes. So a lot of fun new vendors that we have confirmed. Now here's the thing that goes along with that.
What's up?
We are now on a waiting list for vendors and exhibitors.
I'm sorry, what?
Every booth and table is full up. Yes. We had approximately 52 booths, if I remember correctly, and every single one has been assigned. Now, some of you are wondering, wait a second, you guys haven't shown us 50 different vendors. Well, you're right, and here's why. We don't start publishing and publicizing them until they're confirmed.
Gotta get that money.
Yeah, they got to put up the money. You can
get that Skrilla.
You can fill out the application, but you're not confirmed until you've actually paid for your table. So
yeah.
So that's why you're seeing, another 10 this week or so. We had I think 10 or 12 last week, and so we're putting them up as they're paying. I'll put it to you that way. As soon as they lock in their booth, then we get it out there.
You give me that money, you get this. You get your piece of sausage.
But we are looking at potentially expanding so that
Potentially.
we can add more space for vendors.
That is correct.
Yes. So one of the things that we found out this last week is that at the community center, we do have the ability to potentially add on the west side parking lot. And if we do, we get to close it off and it becomes purely our space and we can add additional vendor booths out there. So we're looking into
Yeah.
getting a tent and so it'll be nice and enclosed because you never know what the weather's going to be like here in northern Nevada in September. It can be nice like it has been this last week, or a couple days before that it was raining crazy hard for multiple days, or sometimes it snows really early. So we are looking into that. But the only way we're going to do that is if we do have enough vendors on the waiting list that are interested and willing to go into a tent that'll be right outside the facility. Again, it'll be exclusive and it will be very close to the food trucks.
Yeah,
So,
I think it would be a good idea just to have, spread it out, man. More people. We can get more people in there.
absolutely. Absolutely. So, yeah, I think it's time that we move on to the one of the big things for tonight, and that is Murphy's Inc. Episode 4 coming out this Sunday on KNVC 95.1 FM, Carson Community Radio. And episode 4 is obviously titled Me, Atticus, and Lysander. And the synopses. Michael and Stephanie, with the assistance of Epictetus and Theophrastus, attempt to save Philippe's life and try to get back home. Yes. And we were covering it up, but Philippe is down on the ground. Looks like he's taking a nice little nap.
No. My man caught a knife in that bag, though.
Yeah, there's a little bit of red there, I think. So
Yeah, a little bit of blood. Yeah.
Yeah. So, for those of you that aren't fully caught up and haven't listened to 3, you'll get to find out, I guess, everything that's going on Friday. And this is why you should, if you can, listen to knvc.org on Sunday nights, because you'll know exactly what's going on as it's happening. Oh,
Yeah.
you know what? I didn't notice before, but in these crates, there's silphium plants.
Yeah.
Nice. So, since we're talking about Murphy's, I think there's only one thing left to do, and that is to bring in our special guest for this evening. What do you think?
Yeah. Miss Chandler's in the building.
So, the voice of the librarian in Murphy's Inc., one of the original cast members, OG, if you will, Kaz Chandler. Good evening.
Oh, gee, I like that.
Yes.
An original gangster, if you will.
Yes.
Gangster. What's that with that ER, bro?
Straight out of Carson City.
Gangster. Straight out of that double C.
So,
I like
Kaz,
it.
that connection.
Well, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here. And for the millions and millions, well, hundreds and hundreds watching around the world. So first and foremost, a lot of the time people are like, who the hell is this? So let's start there. And you take however long you want. Introduce yourself to the people. Who are you? What's your background?
God,
Why are you here?
who the hell is this? Long time Carson resident. 38 years I was there. I moved up when I was just a pup to ski, of all things. Hike and ski, yeah, back in the 70s. And I stayed. I'm not quite sure why, but I did. I stayed. And I ended up working a whole lot in different community theaters and university theater and whatever. A lot with proscenium players. And also some professional work that was going on in Reno. And got a degree in both visual art and in theater. I actually have a master's degree in theater. Bothered to go all the way to Chicago for that one. And I taught at Carson High School. I taught theater there for 24 years.
Wow.
So that was a long haul. And I can't think of her name right now, and I'm so sorry for that. Please forgive me. But I want to give a shout out to the young lady that is now in my position at Carson High. She's doing a bang up job. She's really doing a great job, and I'm just so thrilled to be watching her stuff on Facebook and seeing, because we had a great program. We sent a whole lot of kids to Broadway.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we did.
That's awesome.
And some of them are still there, and it was pretty amazing. Then I kind of got a little bit of a traveler's itch and moved to Florida, and then I moved to Costa Rica.
So right now you are in Costa Rica.
I am in Costa Rica.
I hear something that sounds like crickets or something along those lines.
Oh, of course. We have a lot of really, really active bug nightlife.
Yeah.
Although they don't invade, like there's not a single bug sitting on this table where I'm at or hovering around me or anything else. They're very, very generous about staying in the jungle where they belong. It's surprising.
Hey, thanks, bugs, for being respectful of the humans that moved into your habitat.
I know, right? I mean, I love tarantulas. Really, seriously, they're my favorite bug here. Even though coming around a corner and catching one,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Because that's a big spider. That's a big bug. I did, however, once I moved to Costa Rica, I found out that some of my retirement issues were wanting a little bit. So I decided to put my resume back out there as theater teacher, and Beverly Hills High School picked me up for 6 years. And I traveled back and forth between Costa Rica and Beverly Hills and taught the regular school year and spent all holidays here and COVID. I got to, I came back to Costa Rica on March 11th, expecting to spend 10 days on spring break. And immediately go back.
Kidding.
Yeah, immediately go back to Los Angeles and open Chicago, the musical.
Nope.
And yeah. So I literally taught theater for an entire year here online, like the rest of the world. And I have to say, our school was so generous about that. They said, we don't care where in the world you are teaching. If you clock in at the right time and you do your job, we don't care where you do it from.
Yeah, what does it
That
matter?
was great.
You're there.
That was great because that would have been rough. That would have been rough. So it was interesting. And we didn't have any COVID here for months and months and months. Like the whole world was shutting, we were shut down.
Yeah.
Very shut down. But the deaths weren't happening. And they didn't start to happen, unfortunately, until coffee picking season started. And then people came in to pick coffee, and then it was, like the rest of the world, which was
brought it from the other local countries, I assume.
Yeah, which was very sad.
Yeah.
And, bless them all.
Got to pick that coffee, but, at the same time, it's like, yo.
Yeah, right.
At the same time, it's like, yo, you're going to have to make sure you're wearing your mask, get tested.
You know what? I'm not a coffee person, so I would have been okay with them not getting the coffee.
What? You're not a coffee person? This is news to me.
Yes.
Either.
No, I wouldn't.
You're not a coffee person either?
You know what? What's crazy is like back in the day, like, so I had a bad experience with coffee. So we were at church. So listen, we were at church, right? And they had coffee after service, and I didn't know my mom drank coffee, and so she put a lot of stuff in it, so it looked like hot chocolate that we also had. And so I went and I was like, my mom's got hot chocolate. Cool, let me get a little sip, and then just burned my tongue, and then also it wasn't hot chocolate, so it just was a double whammy of not good. And from then on out, I just like the smell of coffee. Like our high school used to be right next to a coffee shop, and people would go there all the time. But for some reason, like that smell of coffee would always just give me headaches.
Wow, I had a similar experience with champagne as a youth.
That sounds enjoyable.
I want to hear this. I want to hear this story.
I was the youngest bridesmaid at my oldest brother's wedding, and Boy, man, did I embarrass the crap out of my parents. People kept bringing me. We're standing in this reception line.
Hold on. Sorry. Rewind real quick. How old were you?
I might have been 14.
Yo.
Nice. Nice.
It was so embarrassing.
People were like, "Oh, you look old enough. Here's some champagne."
Right?
No,
Right?
it doesn't matter. It's a wedding.
Right?
Here you go.
Yeah.
Right. And so like I'm drinking this champagne. And then I don't have much memory of much else
Ever after that?
not much other than being in a bathroom hiding one under this horrific hot pink bridesmaid's dress in the stall, so no one will take it away from me. Oh, but God, my parents, there was no recrimination from anybody other. Well, wait, the recrimination was vile, physical, and horrendous.
They were like, she's paid
On
enough.
my own.
She's paid enough. We don't need to actually bring that back up again.
I think that must have been and we were half Italian, so the Italian side of the family was like, oh,
Here.
Well, yeah, I mean,
As Fozzie Bear said, if you put
you're drinking at like 6, so
yeah.
as Fozzie Bear said, if you put enough sugar in this stuff, it tastes like ginger ale.
So champagne was off the list for a really long time, but
I'm glad I didn't have that experience because I really do enjoy champagne.
Gratefully I outgrew it.
Oh, Mimosa
Yeah.
Sunday, hell yeah!
I'm okay now. It was enough years ago, but God, it's funny. I hadn't had that memory in a super long time, and I think that's really the first time I've ever embraced the fact that my parents. I know my mom was super embarrassed, but my mom is a sweetheart. And that wasn't her way to exact vengeance.
Look at us bringing back old memories. See, Fat and Black Connection. We'll bring it back.
Make you torture yourself with your memory.
I'm laughing. Are you kidding me?
That's a classic Kaz.
I know it really was. It really was classic.
So, Kaz, how did you ultimately come to Murphy's Inc? Because you are the voice of the librarian, and what brought you? Obviously we had auditions and all that kind of fun stuff. What was it that caught you? And talk to us a little bit about how if you enjoy the show. Do you listen to it? Do you read the scripts in advance? Tell us your process.
Well, I want to say the audition notice was in probably Proscenium Players, which I'm a lifetime member for them. And so I'm on their email list, and I love doing voiceover work. I have done a few audiobooks, and sadly, none of those audiobooks have been fiction. They all were like, I kept getting hired to do these really, really dry, like medical. Oh my God.
I'm sorry. Whoa, they put medical were these like Michael Crichton type medical books, or these like
no, they were like serious
medical journals.
Yeah, like journal type stuff. And as it was explained to me that most of them were psychology or psychiatry.
Oh, okay.
And they explained to me that they had vision impaired students.
Oh.
And oh my God, I learned a lot.
Could have got a degree in that, huh?
Oh my God, they're brutal work too, because you have to do your homework. Just like I have to do for Murphy's. I have to look up words I don't know or words I don't know how to pronounce, which you guys are great. You give us a sheet in front of every script that gives us pronunciation. And
that was a lot of work for that psychology stuff, huh?
Oh man, it was brutal. But the audio engineer for the audiobooks company I was working for said I was can't remember, a machine. That's the word he used. He said I was a machine. I could go really long periods of time, get a whole bunch of chapters knocked out in very short sessions without a lot of mistakes. I thought that was a pretty good compliment. So I I know, right? A machine. Just like with the champagne, I was a machine.
Hey, once you throw one back, it's like,
I
oh,
know, right?
They all go down easier after that.
Yeah.
I say it. I love
Speaking of
science.
champagne, Kaz, what are you drinking tonight?
I am
You
drinking.
drinking with us?
I am drinking a very, very
that.
nice Zinfandel.
Oh, she fancy out here.
Yeah, from Dry Creek area of Sonoma, California. We just brought it back on our last trip from the States because wine is super, super expensive. All alcohol that has to be brought into this country in Costa Rica is super expensive. I believe it has 150% importation tax.
I'll bet the rum is cheap, though.
Yeah, rum is. Anything made with cane sugar and rum. And there's this stuff that they make here called guaro. Okay.
Not to be confused with guano, I hope.
Yeah.
No, spelled almost the same and maybe the same effects. It's like old thunder, man. It's like it's really super potent.
Hey, if you're having this, you better be sitting down because it will make you.
Because if you ain't, you will be.
And it's kind of funny because sometimes when you go to, like, they call them a super here, grocery stores, supers. You go to the super maybe in the morning and you're standing in line with your pineapple or whatever, and the 90-year-old Costa Rican is standing behind you with a bottle of guaro and a thing of orange juice. Breakfast of champions.
Yo,
nice.
But yeah, but
check it out now.
I want to meet that dude.
Yeah, I'm saying though, other alcohols are really expensive, so a good portion of the weight of our return luggage is dedicated thus.
So
Kaz, do you think you'll be making it to the Kaboom Con?
I am gonna try. I have to just see how a couple of other gigs that I'm involved in fall out in that time period, but I'm really hoping to.
Well, if you do come, I expect you to bring some guaro because.
You know what?
I'm gonna need it.
I will bring some guaro, and my youngest daughter, Brina, is quite the brewmaster. Like, she makes all sorts of liqueurs and ales and ciders. And
why don't we know her? Why do
I
we
know,
not
right?
know her?
She should be on sometime. She could talk to you about like medieval. She studies how to do them. She's very involved in the SCA, and she studies how to do them for medieval purity.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But she loves guaro as a base. Like, she's always like, you make sure you bring me back a couple of bottles of guaro, because she uses it as a base for a lot of her liqueurs.
We need to be friends.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely.
We need to be friends.
She came here and taught a class on how to make liqueurs and stuff with that nasty stuff. So that's what I'm drinking.
So you came to audition for Murphy's. When you came to audition for Murphy's Inc., was there a particular part that you were interested in?
Oh no, I didn't care. I didn't care. I love doing voiceover work, and I love all things science fiction. I'm an original Trekkie. Had a horrendous crush on Spock when it first came out.
Little Demoy.
I know. I think I was in 4th or 5th grade. And I remember my dad, harumphing at my choice of crushes and saying, "Oh, I can't wait to see what you bring home."
He didn't like that you were into the logical guy, huh?
I guess it was the pointy ears or
no
something.
Emotion.
He wanted you to go for the bad boy, I guess.
He wanted the Kirk.
God, I mean, I was so crushed on Kirk. I was so crushed on Spock.
Yeah.
Do you remember? Any Trekkies here? Do I have any Trekkies out here? Okay.
Absolutely.
Do you remember the episode with Jill Ireland where he's on a planet where he gets sprayed with this flower and it makes him human?
Yep.
And he falls in love with Jill Ireland. I got physically sick to my stomach with jealousy. I cried.
Did you drink champagne?
Oh man!
If it had been available,
Man, I don't think I've ever had that reaction.
I was so crushed. I was so glad at the end when he got, like all
Reverted.
straight laced. Yeah, straight laced again and had to say goodbye to her. I was so happy. T'Pring, those were always rough for me too. The T'Pring episodes were always
Mhm.
hard for me too. My jealousy factor was pretty high. But
Yo.
so yeah,
So-
so the science fiction aspect really, grabbed onto me. And I didn't care what part I got. And funny, Mark, when we first did the first episodes of The Librarian, you guys asked me to voice her really, really. I was very, very drawn and mysterious.
Mhm.
And I'm thinking, I'll do it. I'll do almost anything I'm directed to do. Almost
But-
everything. Oh, yeah, right. There's that champagne issue again.
Yeah.
I'll do. I take direction pretty well, so I went with it, and I'm thinking, oh no, this is wrong, and I was so grateful because God, it couldn't have been 2 weeks later. You guys sent me an email. Hey, come back in. We're gonna
Redo
redo
that.
those. Yeah, and they
Yeah.
were like, no, that's just creepy. That's just witchy. It's dumb. And I was like, oh, bless you. Yes, you're
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, the part of the problem with early Murphys was that, well, and especially you probably remember this. We did the pilot, and then it took a little bit. It got assembled, and we listened to it, and it was like, this isn't gonna work. and
Yeah.
and so we had to go back in and re-record the entire pilot, made some adjustments to casting, and yeah, I think it was all great what we ended up doing. It was unfortunate that because me as the showrunner and executive producer at the time, and I mean still now, but I don't put my name on crap. And I told everyone involved, I was like, I love the concept, I love what I think we're heading towards, but this is not going to work.
This is Bodie.
Yeah,
Good for you.
and
Yeah.
I said, you guys can proceed if this is what direction you're going, but I won't continue. Like, I'll stay as Gleason and keep voicing the character, but if you want me to be the EP and you want me to help show run this thing, we've got to do a re-record because this just isn't going to work.
Yeah, I was very grateful because she just was so phony. And she's an enigmatic character to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
And so I always think it's better if a character is going to be mysterious, let the mystery be there.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to play it up with a bunch of hokey
You don't have to beat him over the head.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, she already falls asleep on a whim. So I mean,
yeah, she does, but for reasons unbeknownst to people yet.
Yeah, they don't know why, but she's got narcolepsy.
Yeah, narcolepsy is a real thing. Yeah,
Narcolepsy ain't no joke.
Mm-hmm.
I have found it in my real life very convenient to fall asleep on certain things at certain times.
Nap time.
Yeah. I'm just going to take a little doze here. Yeah.
So when it comes to rehearsal, quote unquote, for yourself or for preparing for a recording session, do you read the entire script? Do you read just your dialogue? What is your process in that regard?
I read just my dialogue first. Probably just out of curiosity, to be honest with you. Just, okay, what you guys got going on for me this time?
Mm-hmm.
And so I read mine first, and then I go back and I read the scripts because I want to have relationships that are real with, with these people and not just make it up. They're I mean, we the playwright. Boy, oh boy, how many years of my life have I been on that soapbox? Intention of the playwright is everything. When I'm directing a play, I don't have the right to stray from what the playwright intends. And it's the same thing with this. I mean, it's a radio script. So what would you call it? There's playwright, radio script.
I think it's still playwright.
I still think of it as a play, as a
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
'cause it's not screen, but yeah, like
yeah,
playwright. Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah. And then yeah, I'll be honest. I don't have to do a whole lot of practice. I don't really have to do much at all. And you guys are great. You again, if there's anything that you want us to know in advance, you let us know. You send us an email or you get a hold of us and you let us know what's going on. But I've been at this a long time. I've been directing and in theater the major portion of my adult life.
Mhm.
So, and that's going on past 4 decades. So it isn't that hard for me to get intention and make vocal choices and what have you. And the directors are great, when I'm off base, they pull me back or give me a different direction. But that doesn't happen very often, does it, Mark? We
No, no. You,
we
well, and as you know, being involved with the craft as long as you have, 80% of a director's job is casting.
it so is. It so is.
And
Yes.
so for me, when we were doing the casting on this show, um, there were choices that I was very involved with that I was like, no, it's going to be this person or whatever. And there were some that I wasn't because, you know, obviously my wife is in the show, and so I was like, I'm not going to have anything to do with that one. You guys make the
That
decision.
one's yours.
Well, and it has worked out. But I definitely at the time she would not have been my first pick for the part that she was given. But I think she has done a fantastic job. Um, and, and I'm not just saying that because she's my wife. I mean, it is what it is. But for you, like when I heard you and I heard you read, because I don't remember exactly what we had to read for, but I was like, okay, librarian. Like it was that to me was
Yeah.
cut and dry. And especially for me, knowing what the arc of the character was going to be long term, which you have grown to know more about the character over
Yeah.
time. We didn't give you everything up front.
No, you did not.
And, and so, without spoiling anything, you know where the character is kind of heading and directing. But in this season, in season 2, we're about to come into an arc where your character finally gets to go on its first mission.
Yeah.
You've been tucked away down in the dusty, dank library.
No, wait, hold on. She did get to go to the university, bro.
That's true.
Yeah.
We've got Pop Culture Kaboom checking in. Hey, Jim, hope you're well. So for you as an actor, it was season 1 was very one dimensional. It was
Very.
this is what you are. This is they come to see you. You give them information, and
Yeah.
for season 2, obviously, the one thing I told the writers as we were developing season 2 is the whole point is character development. Period. Develop these characters. Let's flesh them
Yeah.
out, and let's create relations between the characters. Because Michael and Daphne were evident in season 1. We got to
Yeah.
do that with everyone else. So
Yeah.
for you know kind of what's going to happen coming up in the upcoming episodes. But for you as an actor, was that a relief? Are you disappointed? Were you excited to see what was going to happen? Or
Yeah. No, I was excited. Yeah. And man, we had so much fun in that taping.
Mhm.
And it was so interesting because you guys were like, we thought this was going to be really dry. We thought this scene was going to be like necessary, for the arc of the story, but kind of one of those, ho hum wah wah. And at the end of the taping, you guys were like, this was so cool. And it was cool because it did just what you said. It really revealed so much more character for both the librarian and the other character who he was just charming. I
Yeah,
mean,
and that was when we were getting the scripts and they were coming in from the writers and I was reviewing them. I was like, this arc is going to be awesome character development wise for Daphne and intern 2.
Yeah.
I thought there
That
was
was
going to be
me.
I thought there was going to be some fun character stuff there for the librarian, but it was a lot of the scenes were very chunky dialogue that was very dry and was like, oh man. And I will tell you, I took a hatchet to a lot of those scripts. I mean, there was like some of
Yeah.
those scenes were like 6, 7, 8 pages, and I got them down to like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, still long.
But
Yeah.
what we ended up with, and going, in that session with you and the fantastic Brian Murphy,
Bro,
Yeah.
that guy is so ridiculously talented.
It was so much fun. And it was so interesting because I've never met the guy.
Mhm.
You know, I've never read with the guy. And
there was chemistry there. Like it was
boom.
amazing. Like,
It was
automatically.
It was like instantaneous. It was like it was combustion instantaneous. And
Nice.
oh man, that is just like something actors just it's you know, it's the golden prize.
Mhm.
Yeah, you
And
live
it
for that.
doesn't happen that often. Happens more often when you have good directors who cast well. Thank you. But when it happens, it's such a treat. And
Well, and the nice thing that ended up working out was having you guys record together, because as you know, sometimes we
That
have
was
you
so
guys record by
awesome.
yourself.
yeah,
I think if you had recorded your dialogue by yourself and he had recorded his by
It
himself,
might not have been as good though.
it probably would not have come out as amazing as
no,
it is.
Sometimes
No.
there's certain things that need to happen. They like both people
do.
need to be there. Like they
Yeah,
have to.
it's a dialogue. Yeah,
Yeah.
that means two.
Yeah. Like I remember I did a recording years ago, and they ended up having to bring the other guy in because we weren't together. I did my stuff, and then they were like, yo, we got to bring this other guy back because he's got to match this. like so,
Oh, right.
yeah. So it was like, oh, I felt kind of bad because I was like, yo, I didn't mean to but I was like, whatever.
Yeah. And you know, it's interesting because these I'm not going to spoil them scenes that I did with on this, you know, this first time librarian gets out of the bookshelves and is actually sent on a mission.
She's sent into bookshelves again.
Yeah, I know, right? She's sent into.
You're going to Baghdad, Iraq, because that was in the first episode, so that's
Right.
fine. Spoiler: if you haven't listened to the first episode of season 2, shame on you.
Oh yeah.
So you're going to 13th century Baghdad, Iraq.
Yeah.
And James evidently Matt Murray's never actually seen you perform because he says you are that dang good. And no,
that is correct. That is correct, sir.
Well, and what was really engaging about it too is it was its normalcy. Normalcy. Oh, help me.
Normalcy is right. That sounds about right.
Is it normalcy or normalcy? I don't know. Okay.
Let's go with normalcy.
Normal.
Yeah.
It was a normal interaction between two people. I teach an improv class here. Improv is another thing I've been involved in my whole life.
Improv is cool.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to be in a couple of really, really good troupes and train with some really amazing, like nationally known people. And I teach an improv class here, and I keep all adults. I keep pushing them to understand. You don't have to try to be funny.
No, that's the thing. That's one thing.
Normal life is funny.
Right. That's one thing you learn in improv. It's like don't try be funny. Just be in the situation, and the funny will come.
And funny is normal. Normal life is what people relate to. So
that's where the joke is.
Right. So the things that happen in this scene, when I'm in Baghdad, they're totally normal.
Minus all the big talk.
Yeah. Yet they're charming, and they're it's you want to know what's going to happen between these two. It hooks you. It hooked me in. Hooked me in. So it was a lot of fun. What was so beautiful was being able to explore other sides because, the librarian is clearly likes Michael. I mean, what's not to like? I mean, she's a woman, he's a man. What's not to like? And he's heroic, right? And she does not like Daphne at all.
And Daphne don't like her, so it's all good.
And yeah, and
It's that Spock jealousy right there.
Oh, it's not a spot. It's
No, Spock.
Spock level.
I said Spock. That Spock level.
Yeah, it's Spock level.
Yeah,
it's Spock level. And the interns are kind of a necessary evil to the librarian. They're like natty flies. They're there that are like, ugh.
Actually, you know
Go
what? Actually, that's
do
funny
what I
'cause
need you to
I don't
do.
think no, that's intern. That's intern one that has the most interaction with you. I don't really mess with you. I'm just like, hey, she's there. I'm cool. I don't need to be there. I'm gonna go talk to real people. She seems scary.
Maybe she a witch.
She might eat my soul.
Yeah, but I think that the librarian actually, kind of was normal with Daphne. Well, she was more accepting of Daphne. Of course, Michael wasn't around, so the jealousy factor wasn't getting spurred on, and the intern surprised her with some skills that she appreciated. And that's one big thing about the librarian is, you better have some skills.
She
You don't have any
becomes more.
skills.
She becomes more. I think from the biggest thing, and actually being able to record with you personally, because I'd never done that before. It's like she became more real.
Yes.
Like in season one, she's very
cut and dry.
She's she's there, but it's like, all right, whatever. Like a lot of and that's a lot of the characters in season one. We're there and we do what we need to do, but it's like we're not very intricate. We're not everything's surrounding Michael and Daphne in the Viking land, and so we're still at home. We're still at home base, and it's just kind of like, okay, we're here, but and there's that interaction. There's a little interactions here and there, but it's like this season, with you actually going out, me with going out, like the whole seeing them, these different teams kind of mashed up together, thrown out on these missions. It's like, oh, these guys are real. They're dealing with a lot.
Yeah,
and a lot.
I think the librarian gains a little bit of perception and a little bit more awareness and acceptance of them because she goes out on a mission and sees what they're up against. Although in no way, shape, or form do I ever feel like the librarian feels she's in danger.
No,
like,
I mean, I think she's pretty solid.
She's gonna escape it no matter what.
There's some about her that's just like, I'm gonna because especially like coming up, it's like she almost comes out of line, but but the way that she comes, she gains the respect of others, of another person very quickly. So it's like
Yeah, so I think it's great. She got rounded out. The character got rounded out. Got levels.
Yeah,
and I mean, that's what any actor is always looking for in their characters is levels. You don't want to be this one-sided, arrogant, partially narcoleptic, falling asleep all the time. You want to have some humanity about you.
No, that's the thing. I think especially this arc coming up, I mean, I think it exposes a lot for all of us, I think.
I think it's a cool arc. I do. And I hope people pay attention because I do think there's some interesting twists and turns that are happening now.
Yeah, there's a lot of push and pull in this.
Yeah. And so, which are great. They're great hooks.
Yeah.
You know, they hook people in too. So I know I love a book. I love a movie that's got a hook. I love a movie that's got a twist. I love it when
With a
you know,
twist.
oh, I do. I love it. Like,
Bruce
you
Willis
know,
was dead the entire time. What?
I did not know. And you know, people that tell me that they knew he was dead the whole time, I don't believe them.
you're a damn liar. If you
Yeah.
I agree.
if you knew he was dead the
I
entire, you're a
agree.
damn
You
liar.
are a damn liar.
There's no
I
way.
agree.
No way.
There's no way, because I remember watching that movie going, and then when it finally at the end, I was like, what?
Mm.
Yeah. And then, you know, then it falls all in place. But
Yeah.
no. M.
Yeah.
Night had you just as much as he had all
And
of
he's
us.
and he's I don't, the only other movie, I don't think he's ever had another movie that really did that to us again.
The
No,
twist
I
was
don't think
that good.
so.
No.
Yeah, because
no,
I mean, like, the Signs was that was it was
and the
it-
mermaid. What was the mermaid one? That was so dumb. That was bad.
Yeah, I never saw that one. I stopped. I haven't seen anything past The Village. I think the only one that I did want to see was
Village was actually a decent twist.
Yeah, it was interesting. But what was it? The one that I did want to see, but I never saw, was Old.
Oh, I haven't seen that one yet.
They go to that beach. They go to that beach, and they all of a sudden,
Rapidly age.
yeah, rapidly,
And they all get
aging.
old.
Yeah.
I avoid those topics.
You're still as young as you feel. Living in that jungle will keep you young, right?
Well, yeah, you know, I mean,
Drinking that guaro.
we're pretty active too. I mean, you know, I horseback ride a couple times a week, and I do.
Okay.
I do. I
Just
have
got just run up to a wild horse and be like, I'm riding.
I have my own horse. Thank you very much.
Oh, bougie.
I
have my own horse.
Okay.
I have my own horse. It's not expensive here. That's why.
I gave you this
Yeah.
horse for five pesos.
No, it's a little
know.
more than that.
That's
But
crazy.
no,
That's a
no,
little
I
racist
do.
of
I
me.
have
apologize.
I have a beautiful horse here. Small. She's small. She's not pony size, but the Costa Rican horses are kind of a mix between you know, I mean, all sorts of different breeds that have been brought in, right?
Yeah,
because I don't think they were natural here.
No.
No,
And
horses
no.
Got to
are
be
natural.
mutts.
Right. And lots of Spanish paso, what they call paso fines, I think they're called. And but just like
horses.
kind of like in Scotland and Ireland, I think the terrain, the actual terrain here starts to evolutionize them to be smaller horses.
Interesting.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think
Interesting.
so. Well, because you know, it's pretty you know, it's rugged.
You can't be
jungle.
too big.
Lots of mountains.
Yeah,
And-
it can't be too
and it-
big, otherwise you're gonna fall.
Well, and you know what? It's interesting because my vet told me this because we were talking about horses and I didn't know. I never knew this. Smaller horses have easier gaits. And that kind of, I mean, think about it. If
That
you think
doesn't
about it,
surprise me.
it doesn't. It's not surprising, right? So
Yeah,
they're
it doesn't
they're-
surprise me that much.
you know, if their legs aren't as long and all that
Right,
stuff.
because I mean, if
they-
you look at like a stallion, I mean, those
Yeah.
gates are huge, so therefore, like,
Yeah.
they gotta. I mean, it takes a lot
So they-
more.
So they have it's a smoother ride. So
Okay.
she's quite pleasant to take out. She was very cranky this week because we were gone for a couple weeks, so she was super barn sour. So she decided to be really cranky with me. Like, I mean, even like, you know, like she won't ever bite me. Like she's not gonna grab
so
onto
now
my
you're
skin.
back, huh?
She's not gonna grab my skin and bite me, but like grabbing onto my clothes while I'm cinching her up, like, yeah, you know, I don't want to do it. Stop it. And then yeah, she was just she's
What
kind of,
is your horse's name?
her name is Marina, and she was 4 years old when I bought her, and I asked the Sabanero. That's a Tico, and we do say Tico. That is not a racial slur. I want everybody to know that ever hears it. That is what they call themselves. That is what I have permanent residency, so they call me a Tica.
Okay.
But the Tico Sabanero cowboy that I bought her from, I said, "What's her name?" And he said, Caballo. Horse.
Yeah.
That was her name, Horse. And so I got to name her, and I named
That's
her.
cool.
I don't know if anybody out there is a huge Shakespeare fan like me, because I'm a total Shakespeare nerd. Marina is the name of the princess in Pericles, Prince of Tyre, which is kind of one of my. It's an obscure and rarely performed Shakespeare that is just enchanting.
Yeah,
It's awesome. It's awesome. It's this whole freaking epic adventure. I'm gonna tie this into Shakespeare. Watch how I do this, or I mean into Star Trek. Watch how I do this.
Here we
So
go.
it's a whole epic adventure of this young prince who goes to this country to potentially wed the princess there, but he's got to guess the riddle, and the riddle reveals that she is in an illicit relationship with her father, the king.
Yikes.
And so when he figures it out, the king condemns him to death. So he's got to run. And so he's running, and he goes back home, and everybody back home says, you better keep running. So he keeps running, and he meets a woman at another place and falls in love with her and marries her. She's a princess too. And then on another, they're on this big ship voyage again, and there's a big storm, and they think she dies while she's pregnant. So they throw her overboard in the coffin. She's not dead.
I'm not dead yet.
Not dead yet. And she has the baby, and it's just, and then the baby gets adopted by another king and queen that have a daughter, and they're jealous as she grows up to be beautiful. So they sell her to a brothel.
Oh,
and
dang.
I'm telling you, this is the best Shakespeare. And they sell her to a brothel, and she's so pure and so beautiful, nobody can do the deed at the brothel.
Dang.
I know, right? So then the some duke or somebody who comes to the brothel, that always bothers me a little bit, but that's where she meets him. He falls in love with her, and anyways, it all ends happily.
So it's the classic story of
it is.
A rich man falls in love with the hoe.
I
Pretty
know,
woman.
right?
Pretty
Pretty
woman.
woman.
Well, and here comes the dad after all these years, who's still traveling, and he gets reunited with his wife, who's been a priestess of Hera or Venus or somebody, right? I know. This is some twisted shit. And then the daughter gets the duke, and everybody lives happily ever after. But it's epic, and nobody ever does it. Well, anyways, the princess's name is Marina. So I get to Beverly Hills High School, and I decide, they tell me I have to do, the very first thing I have to do is Shakespeare, and I'm like, how many weeks? In 5 weeks? I have to
hell
put
no.
Shakespeare out in 5 weeks. So okay, I go, you know what? Pericles, because it's so twisted and it's such an
They'll
epic.
never want you to do Shakespeare again.
But guess what?
No, I think it'll be like that story alone will grab this. That's some crazy stuff. That students love that kind of stuff.
They did. And guess what? You'll never guess what. I made
Leonard
it
Nimoy showed up. I'm just kidding.
I made it a Star Trek adventure. I did. It was all in Star Trek costumes. So it was Kurt, the Kurt costume was Pericles. And when he had to fight, when in the very and the very first princess that's doing it with her dad, she was green. The green,
Yeah.
the all green.
Oh, and Orion.
Yeah. And
Come
in
on,
that,
you said you're a true Trekkie.
yeah, thank you. Oh, okay. I
Well, I
thank you for the
slipped up
help.
on one thing.
and during that scene, he has to fight these other princes, right?
Mhm.
So of course, I made one. Oh God, Mark, you're gonna kill me again. I can't think of the name of it. Dang, the monster, the Godzilla-esque
Gorn.
a Gorn. I made one a Gorn.
Nice.
So we
I'm
got
very
a Gorn
disappointed
mask.
in Kaz.
And the kid playing Pericles was so great. He was like, I'm like, this is a Star Trek fight. And he goes, oh, like this? And so he does a couple of swipes, with the sword, and then he does like 2 somersaults and a roll and gets back up on his feet. You know how Yeah, exactly. You know, like every time Kirk got a chance in a fight, he did a somersault and a roll. Even when he didn't need to.
Of course.
He did a somersault and a roll. We had a lot of fun. Spock, the Spock character was the was Pericles' head guy that his head consultant, his head advisor. Anyways, we had a lot of fun putting it in Star Trek.
That's fun.
It was fun, and the kids bought into it, and
that's all it takes. Buy-in, baby. You get that buy-in, it's a wrap.
So as a big Shakespeare fan,
yeah,
I challenge you to give us the first written Murphy's Inc. episode in Shakespeare.
Oh, Jesus.
Bro, don't do that, because
you already have a hard enough time with normal dialogue.
No, but I'm just saying, like with Shakespeare, that's just a whole, like when I took what was called acting styles, but it was basically everything we worked on was like Shakespeare. But yeah, what we used to say is Shakespeare is written in a foreign language. Damn it, because I mean, literally, he was making up stuff. Like,
well, he was. He made up. Interesting Shakespearean fact. I couldn't believe this. Do you know how many words the average person in Shakespeare's day, so 1580 to 1600, used? The average person used in a daily conversational format.
Like how many words they said, or how many different words they used?
How many different words they used? A number.
300.
Oh wow, you're so off.
Like,
this is astounding.
Like 150.
I'll give you some help. In today's day and age, we hover around 1,500 to 2,000 per day.
Okay, so then probably
like 500.
4,000.
It's 10,000.
10,000 different words in a day.
10,000 different words. Yeah, I mean, give or take.
Depending on, we use the same word for 3 different meanings.
Right. So
your and your. There and there.
Or right.
Right.
Yeah. But here's what's cool too. Like, Mark, how old's your son? Your son is
daughter.
Daughter. Sorry.
That's okay. 4.
Okay. They speak in iambic pentameter a lot.
You know what? That's actually true.
It's really true. Mommy, can I have a cookie? Yeah, they do. Huh. They speak in iambic pentameter a lot. So when people say it's like a foreign language,
it's sing-songy.
It's sing-songy, yeah.
Yeah.
Which
Well, once you find and actually that's what also made Shakespeare. That's what made Shakespeare easier too. Is that once you learn that the tempo.
Yeah.
Once you learn that tempo, it becomes a lot easier because it's basically you're learning a song, and then
you really are.
And I remember we did. Never mind. I can't remember the name of the show now. But we did one of the Shakespeare and the fights between the fights that happen between the guy and they're so good. It's because they're told it's a song. But it's insults being hurled back and forth.
And great insults.
Much ado?
Was it Much Ado? Yes, it was Much Ado.
Great insults. And there's another interesting in Much Ado. There's another really interesting thing. Commoners speak in prose, and highborn people speak in verse. So like your village idiot and your cop. Isn't there a cop in Much Ado? Yeah. The cop. They all speak in prose.
Yeah.
Because they're not highborn. But Beatrice speaks in prose when she speaks about Benedict, and he speaks in prose when he speaks about Beatrice for the first act, because they're trying to hide the fact that they're in love with each other. Isn't that great?
It's the childhood pulling of hair.
Yes. And then when they admit that they're in love, and then they're speaking in verse to everybody else because they are highborn, their blood. But blue bloods, but when they do realize that they're in love with each other, boom, they switch into verse because verse is the language of love.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's cool to know those. I was really, really fortunate. Early in my theater career, I got a grant to go and study up at Oregon Shakespeare Festival in Ashland.
Whew.
Yeah. And then when I was doing my master's program in Chicago, I worked with this woman who's like kind of she's like one of the top 5 Shakespeare instructors and dramaturgs in the United States.
Nice.
And she was just so amazing. And so I got a really solid grounding on how to teach all this stuff, and brought it back to my students, and they loved it. Once the puzzle was like,
and that's the thing is once you decipher everything, and that's one of the things. Yeah, it is like the different rap styles in Hamilton.
It is. That was cool, Brian. Very, very good observation. Excellent.
Yeah, and so like I remember, there's the books that have the Shakespearean, and then on the other page it's the English
translation.
And it's like, oh, okay.
Oh,
and the thing, I think one of the things that really drew us in, especially with Much Ado, is when he told us like, just look for the naughty jokes in there. And we're in college, so it's like, oh yeah, we're all about that. We all about those kind of jokes.
Oh
so
my god, he was writing sex, drugs, and rock and roll because that's what people wanted to buy a ticket for.
And you think about it too, is that those were long shows. Like those were super long shows.
Yeah, there's even
and even if you go to the Royal Shakespeare Company today, in the Globe, it's like they still have the tickets where you're standing the entire time. But yeah, it's an experience, and it's just like, yo, like this is crazy. Like,
or you just go see the War of Roses.
All right. They actually think that that the productions were longer than we even thought, that the runtime wasn't even an issue. It was like you planned to be there for the whole day, and they took breaks.
Yeah,
for meals and coffee, and it was an 8-hour event.
Sheesh.
Well, there was no binging of Netflix.
Yeah, there was nothing else to do. So
I
going to the theater. Were those one-time performances, or did they perform those a couple times?
Oh no, a couple times.
A couple times. Okay.
Oh yeah, more than a couple times.
So everybody can come. So everybody can come from out of the way and come see it.
Yeah, and you also this is another thing is really, they think that all sorts of studies are happening still about it because we don't know. They think that the casts were much smaller than all the characters, and that if you actually go into any one of his plays, you can find, like in Romeo and Juliet, any scene Romeo's not in, that somebody else is in, that's never in a scene with Romeo, that same actor was probably playing both parts.
Oh, yeah. We need to go back in time and watch.
I wish Murphy's could go back to Shakespeare. That would be so cool.
Are you a writer?
I have written.
Well,
some I have.
Send me your proposal. I'm open. We've got.
Wouldn't that be cool?
I think you know this, that we have season 3 and 4. 3 is pretty much already outlined, but 4, we could look at it. But we also have announced the Murphy's Inc. comic book.
Right.
Placed 10 years before the audio drama, and we've got 10 years to play with. That we can do it.
Because I think I often made enemies in the English department because I very, very boldly told my kids, this is sex, drugs, and rock and roll, folks. And if you're looking at for anything else, that is not its intent. It was never intended to be read. It was only intended to be performed.
See, that's the thing, is that you told them what would draw them in. Like when
it was true.
If you have to read it, it's boring as hell.
Oh my God.
It's boring as hell. But if you tell them that, If you tell them, oh, there's tons of sex jokes in here. There's like, I
Oh.
mean, yeah, it might not be PC, but that's what's going to draw those kids in.
But it's the truth because
Yeah.
I mean,
And that's
you know,
what it is. And that's what it is.
yeah. I mean, we would always kind of start those studies by, you know, and I mean, I think this is true of like Murphy's. You know, if you take a, you know, big sheet of paper and you start drawing, you know, asking people you know, when you go see a movie or something, what is it you're going to see? Romance, intrigue, mystery, suspense, fights, you know, all that stuff. And that's what he was writing, you know, and when Murphy's gets, that's why I love just backtracking a little bit to the arc of this current season that's going on, because that human element of romance and intrigue and suspense, you know, is included very, very, very succinctly. Yeah. And not with Daphne, that old piece. What up with her? That old piece. Daphne, why does she get to go on all the missions with Michael?
So Kaz, we got the first physical representation of the librarian in episode 1 with the art there, and way down here, back here.
Yeah.
What did you think?
I loved it. I hang on. Gonna just I'm gonna say she would unbutton one or two more buttons.
She that fly? I don't know.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she's that fly. Oh hell
Okay.
yeah. Oh hell yeah.
It's it definitely the interesting thing, and people might not know this, but the librarian is sitting. The librarian is the tallest member in the cast. When we look
6'3".
No,
a physical description.
She's actually
6'4".
No,
6'4".
Yeah, because I'm 6'2". Yeah, intern 2 is 6'2". Yeah.
So she is the tallest cast member in Murphy's Inc.
Yeah.
If I come to Kaboom,
she's the shortest.
there will be no. I'm not that short of a woman, but there will be another button undone, and there will be some serious stiletto action happening, and serious hair height happening. It has to be.
We're taking this back to the 80s, though?
So it sounds like you're going to be cosplaying as your own character.
Yeah.
Of course. Why would I not?
And speaking of cosplay, you had talked with me about a proposal. If you are to come, tell the people if it happens and we're open, what are you wanting to do at KaboomCon?
Well, along when I was 13 and 14, besides drinking copious amounts of champagne at weddings, I also seriously learned how to sew, big time. And my mom is still to this day. My mom's 91 and a legend, a furious seamstress. I mean, you know, like we didn't have a lot of money, but man, you know, like I had like the little red jacket with the fur trim with the little muff. Muff. In Southern California, I had a muff.
Mom was out here making furious clothes, huh?
Yeah. And so you know, because we didn't have a lot of money and we were living in Southern California, in this really curious area where like half my high school was really poor. There was a chunk that was really poor. Then there was kind of us that was, you know, our dads were, you know, they worked 6 days a week. Blue collar, yeah. And then the other half were all working at Northrop, putting the Apollos on the moon.
Oh.
So it made for some pretty serious financial diversity.
I can see some clashes there.
Yeah, so I wanted to wear what the rich girls were wearing, but we couldn't afford to buy those at where those girls were buying it. So my mom and I made them. And so
by any means necessary.
Yep. So this steadied me very well in my theater life.
She said,
Uh,
"Oh, what the designer is this?
yeah,
MOM."
yeah. So as when it was cool too, because living down there in Southern California in the beach cities when I was a teenager, there was a lot of thrift shops and vintage was like big, like that was really becoming a big thing. Like there
And
was
then
this
it came
place.
back.
So back
Yeah,
then, vintage was
yeah.
wearing like 1930s, 40s.
Like 40s and 50s stuff, and
Oh
um
damn! Now
and
vintage is like
Hawaiian shirts were
80s and
big.
70s.
Yeah, like Hawaiian shirts and like I would go to these thrift shops and buy like these Hawaiian muumuus and then cut them down and make these like really cool halter dresses and stuff with them. And there was one place called Aardvark's Old Ark down there that
I
Robin
love
Williams
that
used to.
name.
Aardvark's Old Ark.
Nice.
Robin Williams bought all his. He used to perform only in Hawaiian shirts. Did you remember
Yeah.
that? And that's where he bought them all. And so
Nice.
you'd like run into him. When I was like looking for muumuus, he's looking for shirts. But anyways, so as I got involved in theater, I would always offer to help the costumer if there was a costumer on the show. And once they found out I could sew, that was great. And many times there weren't costumers on the shows. And so I would pitch in and do a lot of that work. Long story longer, I've done some of it professionally. I have costumed shows, theater productions professionally. And in my last gig at Beverly Hills, I employed this absolutely amazing young woman, Lark Arrowwood. She's still there doing her craft. God, she was
Great name.
insane. Lark Arrowwood. I know, right?
Arrowwood. That is.
And
That's a stage name, right?
No, it's a real name. And she does tons of cosplay. And the tricks that she was showing me, I was like eating them up with a spoon. And then, of course, I was showing her a bunch of stuff because, I had several years of thrift shopping. And so I used to teach this workshop nationally for Educational Theater Association called Thrift Shop Chic, which I guess there is now a thriftshopchic.com. Those bastards. But so basically it's getting things at thrift shops to undercut how expensive fabric.
We've done that.
Fabric notions, etc., etc., etc. Plus a little lazy too, like I don't like doing buttons and buttonholes. So if you could already have that created and you can just cut that out.
Yeah.
And
Done.
So I did tell Mark and I spoke and I said, if I am there, and I'm hoping to confirm that within a month or two, I would gratefully and gleefully teach a 45-minute, show some really cool tips, some really cool ideas for cosplay.
Can you get Lark Arrowwood there too?
You know what? I could try.
That name is dope. I'm just that name is crazy cool.
Try. I could call her up because she'd have to travel from Los Angeles, but she might want to. She might want to for a lark.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, but there's just so many cool things you can do with like normal everyday stuff you could get at hardware stores or the dollar store. The dollar store.
You mean
It's
like
my kind of place.
Store?
So what do you think the name of your panel or presentation will be? Is it cosplay on a budget? Is it?
Yeah, it probably would be something along that line. Like,
call it BC budget cosplay.
Yeah, how to budget cosplay and yet, bring it home. Still bring it, because it doesn't have to look cheap to be cheap. Yeah. Mark and I were talking, like there's tricks, like like one of the things to talk about in a panel is just how to shop a thrift store. Like you don't realize they have bins. Ask somebody. They have bins of fabric. They have bins of notions. They have bins of
in the back
patterns.
That you haven't even seen.
Well, you wouldn't know where they are. They're like tucked underneath the handbags or
Yeah,
something.
or they're over in that dresser in the bottom drawer.
Yeah,
Why would
but
you open it?
Yeah.
or like they're like hanging in Ziploc baggies on pegs on this forgotten wall, and like you can get a Ziploc baggie full of rickrack, seam binding, zippers, threads that have, they've used some of it, but not the whole spool. And the whole entire Ziploc baggie might be $1.50. I mean, a spool of thread is $1.50. It's you bought your costume at Disneyland. Well, you are a high roller then, because a water is $5 at Disneyland.
Yeah, if you're buying a costume at Disneyland,
You're paying a good mint.
You're paying some money.
El churro is $5.
I know that he is talking about a Star Wars, like either Sith or Jedi outfit.
Oh, cool.
So
that was super.
I'm gonna guess that's somewhere in the $200 range.
At least.
Is he gonna tell us? Is he gonna tell us?
I'm
gonna
sure,
tell us?
I'm sure you will. The unfortunate thing is that there is a slight delay from us talking.
Okay.
When he does confirm that it hurt his wallet.
It hurt his wallet.
As it should.
Indeed. I did with a best friend once. We did Cornelius, and we did original Planet of the Apes for Halloween. And what was her name? Was it Zara?
Yes.
Yes, Zara. Yeah. We were Zara and Cornelius, and we just picked up the very cheap.
Ouch!
We just saw the price tag with the lightsaber.
Yeah.
Through the cheap theater houses, we just bought the prosthetic, the monkey nose, and did the makeup around the monkey nose, had the wigs, made those really super comfortable costumes, by the way, because they're pajama like. From the first Planet of the Apes, they're super. We bought some remnant junk fabric that was like $1.50 a yard. Anyways, swept up at Halloween. I'm telling you, nice. We won every costume contest we went into at every bar.
Nice.
It was great. It was great. But there are so many tricks that you can do. That there they are. Oh God, that was so fun. And just walking down the street, I was at the Nevada Day Parade dressed like that. And just walking down the street, and people are just screaming at us, Cornelius, Zara! And we're like, wow, there's a lot of people in Carson City know the name of the original Planet of the Apes people.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It was, so yeah.
Damn you, dirty apes.
Damn you. I was just thinking that. Great minds. I was just thinking that. And then the other line that always just is, you blew her up. With the poor destroyed statue.
Charlton Heston.
Man.
I had a gal that I actually did these. There was another workshop artist for Educational Theater Association at the big conferences. Shirley, I can't say Shirley's last name. Is it Rita? Seeing something. Anyways. She was in on Rey's costume for the last Star Wars.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, she was in on the design team for that.
Nice.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah.
But, a lot of people were pulling that costume off. So
yeah, but that's not. But that's not. I mean, those costumes are nothing.
Those are simple.
They're so simple. They're you don't even need to know how to sew.
All right.
Throw some cloth, wrap it around,
and you wrap it around correctly, you're good.
You almost get a pillowcase or and cut the hole and. But there's a lot of cool tricks on how to shop thrift stores to find that stuff that'll help you out, and then start talking about some of the fun stuff. I like right now. I got to tell you, I'm into pool noodle wigs.
This is a thing, James. I didn't know about this until Kaz told me.
Freaking amazing.
What?
Pool
All right.
wigs made out of pool noodles.
You know, I have a feeling I've seen these before.
You might have. I mean,
If-
and pool noodles are cheap.
yeah.
So cheap.
I have there. I think there was a character on one of these Nickelodeon shows or something like that that had hair like that.
Look at that.
That's actually
Is that cool?
those are actually pretty interesting.
And then it was funny because
I can dig.
Isn't
I can
it
go behind
cool?
that. Got a Max
mean-
Headroom look to it.
I mean, I got to be honest. I was just thinking the other day. I was just starting to kind of have a thought about how would you make the newest what is it? I can't say. Ahsoka. What's the new Star? What's
Ahsoka?
Ahsoka? Yeah, I think you could do. I think it could be made out of pool noodles.
Yeah.
I can see
I
it.
think so.
Speaking of which,
Yep.
the new episode,
Woo.
good, very good.
Love it. I'm so hooked.
I was like, yo, but at the same time, I was like, I felt like she was taller. I felt like she was taller in Clone Wars for some reason. But
it just flew straight out of my head what I was going to say about it, but it was just do you guys follow on Instagram or TikTok the Nomad? Does anybody follow Nomad?
I might.
Well, you guys got to follow Nomad.
Okay.
He's so funny. First of all, he is a first-rate cosplayer, and he's got his whole family in it. But I mean, I think he's making a living at it. Like he's seriously dealing in Mandalorian wares,
Okay.
Mandalorian weaponry and Mandalorian stuff. He's serious. He's very, very his I don't know if they're TikToks or Instagrams, but they're very funny. And he's got Goguru in there, who I just think so adorable. I can't even stand it.
Thank you for calling him Grogu and not Baby Yoda, like half.
No, his name's Grogu. He was given a name.
Yeah, these heathens out here still calling him Baby Yoda.
They can't call him Baby Yoda. He has a name. Do
Yeah,
they go
that's what
around
I'm saying.
calling their friends Baby? Hi, baby. No.
I know some that probably do, but
Oh, is it the guy that went and saw Giancarlo Esposito and gave him a custom-made helmet?
Yeah.
I have seen some of his stuff.
His stuff's super funny. And you know, him and his kids are all he's got his youngest kid who looks like they're 6 or 7 in the Star Wars, the thing with the hood with the little bright eyes. That's what are they? The
Jawas.
Yeah, the little Jawas. And I mean, he's got his youngest kid in that. He's so shout out to you, Nomad. I'm an avid follower.
Nomad.props.
Yeah, I'm an avid follower. I think you're doing a great job, and your stuff on TikTok just makes me laugh every time I see it. Every time I see it.
You got a huge fan over here.
Yeah, I am a huge fan. God, I'm such a Star Trek, Star Wars nerd. Jeez. Oh well.
Right.
So, Kaz, what else you got going on? Anything you want to plug, promote?
What else have I got going on? Okay, well, besides the horseback riding and the surfing,
And
you surf?
I'm terrible, but I do surf. Yeah, I do.
It's all about having fun, I guess.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm always the oldest
don't
woman
die.
out. I'm always the oldest woman out there, so I get lots of props, and I get lots of like everybody's super nice to me.
Be nice to the old lady.
What do they call howlies down there?
Groms.
Grums.
You're a grom. If you're young and you don't know what you're doing, you're a grom. If you don't know what you're doing, the appropriate term is kook, but that's only if you don't know what you're doing, but you try to surf with people that do know what they're doing, and you get in their way.
Yeah.
And then they have other names for other people that are jerks, but you can imagine what those are.
Mhm.
And but yeah, other than that, I am teaching my improv workshop here, which has been really social. It's socially fun for me. It's a social good time.
Mhm.
But the other thing I do for profit is I am a plein air artist. Um, I take my
Sorry.
stuff.
For some reason, I was thinking I heard plain air artist, and I was like, you draw in a
You draw
plane?
planes.
I was like, but no, I get it. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
I'm a
out in a
yes, yes. I go
area.
out.
Yeah.
I actually go out with my easel, and I actually paint outside,
Oh,
and mostly landscapes, although sometimes horses and sometimes surfers. And I do sell my art.
yeah,
Um,
that's
I
great.
I do. Oh, that one just left. As a matter of fact, that one just went to a new home in Tennessee, of all places. Um,
Interesting.
yeah, and I'm branching out a lot. Besides my Costa Rica art, of which I have lots. I I'm starting to paint in different locations around the world, and I just got back from Rocky Mountain National Park, which I don't think I
People
have
all
any.
over the
I
world.
don't think I have any of my artwork up from Rocky Mountain National Park yet.
Okay,
I just
so
got
wait, so Kaz, wait, real quick. For
yeah.
those, do you take a picture and then start it out there and then finish it when you at home, or do you do it all
No,
out?
no, it's almost all done. It 90% of the painting is completed within within a 90-minute to 4-hour range.
Oh wow,
Yeah, all of these. Yeah.
impressive.
Occasionally I will take a piece back and I'll tinker with it a little bit in the studio, but not much. Not much.
Oh, hey, I see some comic. Is that Ben Brown?
Yeah, yeah, I did. You know what? I was I because I created the thing on a wave. Where is he? I created the thing on a wave for a specific gallery that was doing a pop art um exposition. And oh my gosh, and thing on a wave has been gone forever and ever. He's been in a new home for he got sold right away.
I'm sure it did. Drive safe, Tyrus. He's back to work.
Aw, thanks for being with us, Tyrus. So yeah, yeah, uh I do and you know what, that kind of painting really it's one of my mentors described it my work specifically as being very vibrant and urgent, which fits my personality. That is what my personality is like. And uh it really suits me to paint quickly like that. I learned that skill from painting sets. Because
Mhm.
Mark, we don't have that much time ever in a theater.
You think you do, but
Ever.
you never do.
I mean,
It's never enough time.
Yeah.
usually you're sharing it with something else that's got a setup or is in process while you're rehearsing. And then once you get, close, you're lucky to get 2 weeks to do a set build.
Mm.
Yeah,
If you're
if you're
lucky.
lucky.
If
Well,
you're lucky. And a lot of times it happens on a weekend. So I honed my skills on painting fast and big. So it really suits my purpose to go out into the field. I got to tell you, chroma is such an amazing color is such an amazing thing. We were fishing yesterday, and this really beautiful sunset started to happen. And I kept trying to take pictures of it with my iPhone and then looking at my iPhone going, these colors aren't even close.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And my friend had like this really uber Google camera. He says it's the best in there. He took a picture and it was closer. But that's why plein air artists are so passionate about painting in plein air, because you are painting real colors that you are seeing in real life.
Moment,
Yeah.
yeah.
In the moment.
Yeah.
So it's amazing how I keep making reference to my theater life meshing with my artist life, because it's all kind of the same thing, it's in the moment, it's telling a story, it's getting people to look at a little slice of my world in a different way.
Absolutely. So it's CazChandlerArt.com.
It is.
And do you take like commissions or anything like that, or
Yeah, occasionally I will do commissions. I don't like to.
you want to paint what you want to paint?
Well, commissions are like sewing for people. They're like the whole bridezilla thing comes out, so like I don't know what you would call a person, the whole art collectorzilla thing comes out. I always tell people if they ask if will do a commission, I say yeah, but you look carefully at my style and how I paint, because I will get a 50% non-refundable deposit from you, and I will allow you one or two fixes, and that's it. Because I've been burned. Once we get burned, we tend to be a little more cautious, right?
A little more cautious.
Absolutely.
But it's I love painting. I love it because I love theater, but I don't think there's anything zen about theater at all.
It's straight chaos.
It's chaos.
It's absolute chaos.
Oh, that was, yeah. I also do advertise. Oh, Jesus. Speaking of chaos, God, anytime you're singing Sondheim, you're in chaos. You are in straight up chaos for the whole time.
What show was that?
Well, I've done several. I've Sweeney Todd Company. Yeah, that was Sideshow. Boy, that's an interesting. Oh God, that was when I directed. That's the Vibrator play.
Sorry, what?
It's called In the Next Room, or The Vibrator Play, and it literally is about the invention of the vibrator to cure hysteria in men and women.
Interesting.
It's a beautiful play. Oh God, I was in a million nonsenses. I did 100 million nonsenses in my lifetime. Oh, this one was fun. Angry Housewives. We were all these totally normal married or divorced women that needed money, so we entered a punk rock band contest.
Interesting.
And that costume was created out of a wedding dress of a failed marriage of mine.
Oh.
You want to talk catharsis? That's catharsis. Take the wedding dress, and my eldest daughter Michonne and I had a blast. We dyed it, we cut it up, we slid it up, oh my God, we slutted it up. God, that was fun. And I played the bass myself, by the way.
Yeah.
And I played the bass. I also had to learn how to play the accordion for a show once.
Was it something to do with Weird Al?
No, it was one of the nonsenses, and we busted out with a polka number. Yeah, and so my character runs backstage, puts on a freaking accordion, and came out and played the polka with the band.
Polka dot again.
Awesome.
And I had this cat. God, he was such a great cat, Mr. Kitty, and oh my God, Mr. Kitty was climbing my leg to make me stop playing. I think he thought I was hurt.
You played it so badly. He was like, "Hey, I'm thinking you need to stop playing this."
What is that you have on? What is that you have wrapped around your chest that is making this horrible noise?
Now, again, if an accordion can be played well, it's amazing. It's kind of like bagpipes. If they can be,
it's true.
If it's played good,
it's true. I had a student at Beverly Hills High School who was a musical genius. Literally, his parents were from Russia originally, and They were musicians, and I mean, the kid got into Juilliard.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they don't mess around.
If he's a
And
musical genius.
he was a musical genius. And one day he shows up to school with a smaller, more of a concertina.
Mm-hmm.
He's walking down the halls and kids are yelling out tunes, and he's playing them. Heavy metal, Beatles, everything.
Where is it? Where is this one at? Is this the Beverly Hills High School?
This was a kid. This was a senior in high school at Beverly Hills High School.
Nice.
Wow.
He was just he was a musical savant. Swear to God, he was just incredible.
Play that funky music.
I know, right? But that's an accordions are interesting instruments. I think the librarian might play an accordion, unbeknownst to everybody at home at times.
Get in.
Joe Bly,
Get it in.
our amazing audio engineer. If you're watching, try
Get
to work
it
in
in.
an accordion somewhere.
We can move that in. Add that to season 4.
Or a cello. I don't play cello, but I think cellos are beautiful.
Nah, I like accordion better.
It's got the accordion now.
Yeah. Oh, she plays accordion and bagpipes.
Yeah, well, only for certain men.
Oh.
Bagpipes, the most amazingly ugly, beautiful instrument in existence. What can sound so terrible but so great at the same time?
Yeah.
My youngest daughter spent her senior year of high school as a foreign exchange in Scotland.
Yeah.
And at the prom, it answered forever. What they wear under those kilts?
Nothing.
Not a dang thing.
And they did the obligatory prom picture where they all lined up and showed us.
And bent over, yep.
Wiener.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Good old fruit bowl.
Yeah, that's a beautiful country.
Franks and Baines.
Scotland is a beautiful country.
I've actually talked to people from Scotland because I'm like, yo, like I really want to go to Scotland.
And understood them.
Yeah, actually, amazingly. But actually one of my high school teachers was from Scotland, so Miss McLaughlin. Yeah, I was asking. I was like, yo, like. They were like, why do you want to come to Scotland? I was like, because I really want to try haggis. And they were like, I mean, they were like, some of them were like, yo, it's delicious. And some were like, I don't know, it's an acquired taste. Like, she doesn't like it, but I love it. So I was like, okay, I'm cool. I'll definitely have to try it now.
I couldn't make a whole meal out of it, but as an appetizer, I enjoyed it. Oh. I thought it was good. Okay. I thought it was good.
So it's like, is it small? I thought it was bigger.
No, it can be. I mean,
it
can be, but they could just give you a little of it. You don't have to eat the whole freaking platter.
Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll do.
Yeah, you could just have a little.
Try it out, and then maybe I'll. Oh, you know what? Let me get that big one.
Yeah, I thought it was good. I mean, like I said, I couldn't make a whole meal out of it, and that was an option, but. It was also an option not to have it as
you want the lunch portion or do you want the full portion?
Exactly right.
I want the baby portion. I just want to taste it.
I don't think I've ever been so cold in my whole life though, and it was April. We were there for 2.5 weeks, and oh my God, it's cold
in April.
Oh my God.
That makes that's.
I went woefully underpacked. So immediately there were 2 wool sweaters and a couple of wool scarves purchased immediately.
That she got from a thrift store in Scotland.
No, I actually bought. Where did I buy? No, I bought them from a sweater store.
Oh, so you paid full price.
Sweater
I did, but they weren't expensive. They weren't that bad.
Because it's Scotland, they know that people get cold.
Yeah. Oof, God, cold.
No melanin in that skin.
It was a curious. Let's see. I guess I was there in like the year like 2000 or something, or 99. And
you had ketchup. Stupid.
Yeah, I know, right? And you drive through these little towns, and like it was like driving back into the United States in the 1950s or 60s. The way everybody was dressed, the way everybody looked.
Oh, wow.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was trippy.
Time capsule, huh?
Yeah, it felt like it. Yeah. Yeah, and you stand out. You stand out very strongly when you
I
go
know
to visit.
I know I'll stand out like a sore thumb,
Yeah.
and I'll love it.
I've heard of Black Irish. I don't know if there's a Black Scottish.
Hey, do you know what Black Irish is? I know what Black Irish is.
Yeah, it's just ones with dark hair. Black hair.
Do you know why?
Because of their nuts.
It's the Spaniards that washed up on the shores during the wars between England and Spain in the 14 and 1500s and 1600s. Yeah, and the Irish took them in because they hated the English.
Makes sense. All on the same island, but hey.
So
you're at war with them, we take you.
And yep, exactly. And so they intermarried into the Irish. And that's how we get those dark-haired, dark-eyed Irishmen. Swarthy. That's a great word. Swarthy.
That is a good word.
I'm sorry, James. Just because I have to, it is not the same island. They are two distinctly different islands.
Oh, it's all sorry, my bad. Sorry.
Yeah. So just because
my bad.
But close enough to swim if
Scotland
you could stand,
is the same island.
Yeah.
Close enough to swim if you could stand that cold water. And then the further north you get in Scotland, the accent starts to sound more and more like Danish or Minnesota.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
All
right.
But
I didn't make it to Ireland.
Yet.
Let's go.
There's a huge plein air fest there that just happened in August and kind of on my list, so we'll see.
Yeah, I am looking at in the next few years, hopefully doing a cruise from Reykjavik down to and around Ireland and England, and spending some time there because we went on a cruise earlier this year to Alaska, and
cool.
That was a hell of a fun trip, and I think the majority of my traveling is going to be on a luxury ship. Moving forward.
No, you know what I'm bucket listing here? I'm bucket listing a Patagonian horse tour.
Okay.
That sounds painful.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, I think I would really have to
you better limber up.
Yeah, I'd have to toughen up for it. I only go riding once or twice a week. I'd have to really get out there and do some horse miles.
Like I know I did. I rode a horse for a little while, and I understood why in the Western movies they walk the way they did. Because as soon as I got off that horse, I was literally just the entire time, just really, you felt it right in your groinal area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to do that down in Patagonia, and I'd also like to do it in Scotland. They have horse tours in Ireland and Scotland.
Maybe I can side saddle that bad boy the entire time.
Nobody rides side saddle.
Yeah. Why are you riding young man, why are you riding like that? Because I'm not trying to get my crotch hurt out here.
Yo, please mind my pronouns. He, she, them.
He, she, them.
God,
oh, Jesus.
I gotta tell you, I'm trying to be enlightened, but I'm struggling with that one.
Yeah.
I am struggling. I do my best.
You can't be perfect all the time.
I just pray that anybody that has that issue just keep.
I apologize.
It's okay to keep reminding me and keep correcting me. I will take your correction every time.
But at the same time, sorry.
Trying.
It's hard out there.
It's a new world, isn't it?
It's a
every day,
brand new.
The only constant in life is change.
God.
And taxes.
So what do you think COVID did for the world of radio shows and stories like Murphy's?
They, when you think about podcasting, the concept, right? It existed, and predominantly due to Serial. Have you ever listened to that show or know about that show?
I don't think so.
Okay, so Serial was a podcast that was done about a gentleman named Adnan Syed, who is imprisoned in Maryland for a crime he claims he didn't commit, and that the case is really shaky. And this woman, I believe her name is Sarah Koenig, created this series, and it was huge. It was wildly successful, and this was back in like 2014, 2015. And that show is what really pushed forward the concept of podcasting, but it still was not mainstream until COVID. And so COVID brought about two things. One, the podcast, because actors needed to make money. They weren't allowed to be on set. They weren't allowed to do any of that stuff. So they started creating podcasts for themselves to generate revenue stream. That's how this show, Fat and Black Connection, came into being. Is James and I, we were, working from home or whatever the case may be, and we had a lot of free time, if you will, and it was like, let's do this.
It actually started as kind of a like we were talking on Facebook, and he was like, "You want to go live?" And I was like, "Whatever." And we were talking
Why
about
not?
We were talking about the
cool.
shot, and people watched.
Yeah. So the thing that the component that goes along with that is the now what is called audio drama, or what those of us that know would be a radio drama, right?
Yeah, radio.
Going back to Great Gildersleeve, Abbott and Costello, The Shadow, Green Hornet, like a lot of those were radio dramas from the 19
was it FBI and stories of the FBI.
Yeah.
Dragnet.
Dragnet started out as
so there's actually so one of the things that's actually kind of cool, I have Sirius XM, and they have this station called Radio Classics, and so every once in a while I'll tune into that, and they'll be playing like an old Sherlock Holmes, or they'll be playing like some old mystery science, like it's just like some of the stuff I'm like, yo, like this is crazy. It's like it still holds up. They still hold up pretty solid.
The beauty of the audio drama is that it allows for you to create your own mental image.
Yeah.
And that's
gotta get in that imagination space.
I think because of COVID, there wasn't a lot of new visual content that was happening. And so the audio drama came back into existence, or the radio drama came back into existence. And it's there are websites dedicated to hosting audio dramas, like Dramify, where it's one of the sites that we post Murphy's Inc. at as well. And they do nothing but audio dramas. And you go on there and you look at the list.
Ton of stuff.
It's thousands. It's funny. I subscribe to a couple of different groups in, Reddit or on Discord, where people are constantly building and developing audio dramas, and it's a thing now. And I think a lot of people use this as a very low budget way of getting their content introduced to an audience, for hopefully it to get picked up in some way.
Yeah.
We here at 97 Now Productions just greenlit another audio drama that's in pre-production right now, being written. Oak Bridge.
I keep calling Oak Bridge. Yeah.
It's not the Oak Ridge Boys. This is not Elvira. It is Oak Bridge, and it's a sci-fi thriller in the style of X-Files or Twin Peaks.
Oh, cool.
And again, it is purely audio based, and so you have to use your imagination. I think that's one of the things that COVID forced a lot of us to have to do, is go back to using your imagination, because otherwise you were losing your mind getting cooped up in the house.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
What do you I don't
listen to music on the radio. Like, I don't know why. I don't.
Oh my God.
If I do listen to music, like if people are over or something and I put music on, I always put on I always put on the music of the late 60s and early 70s, because it was just so good.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. That was good. That was good music right there.
So good. Or sometimes I listen to Broadway shows.
Mm-hmm.
But I love audiobooks. I mean, I love listening to books on, if I'm painting or I'm doing some heavy kind of, cleaning up or something around the house or something.
Mm-hmm.
Love to listen to audio, but when we drive, We
I,
listen to audiobooks. We don't listen to music.
that's something, you know. Like, yeah, I drive. I listen to music, but like I remember for the time when a number of years ago, or well, actually it was only about a year ago now. When I was working for Pepsi. I listened to a couple audiobooks that I really wanted to listen to. So I was like, "Yo, this is cool." One of the best ones, hearing Trevor Noah read "Born a Crime." If you have not,
Huh.
if you haven't heard that story, I highly suggest checking out him because he reads it himself.
Okay.
So, Born a Crime is from Trevor Noah. It is crazy story. Like
Does
if you
it
like
demonstrate
audiobooks,
apartheid or?
it deals with you know, because he was born during that time. He was
Mhm.
Yeah.
born during apartheid, but you know, like just his story about his, you know, growing up with, you know, his dad was white, you know, his from Scotland or Scottish. I want to say Scottish, and you know his mother being Tasa, which is one of the tribes. That was one of the tribes down in
Mhm.
South Africa, you know, and just him, you know, navigating this whole world
Huh.
as a mixed, but you know he saw himself as black. He didn't see himself as you know white, and you know and his story is just so. And hearing him tell it, it's so compelling. It's like it's amazing.
Yeah. No, I just love stories. So, I hope radio dramas stick around. I hope they continue to grow. I hope they do well.
Yeah,
I
here to stay.
I agree. It's nice, and we see this a lot in human society that we have this secular where we revolve and we come back to something, generation, two generations later, and it becomes
yeah.
popular again. Um,
Well, and the technology is so much more advanced. I
And now
mean,
we can get it.
right now, we are talking to you. You're in Costa Rica. I'm in
I
northern
know, it's
Nevada. James is in
crazy.
Vegas.
Yeah,
And we're doing this live, right? Where anybody in the world that wants to can engage with us directly.
yeah, and then
Well,
like you know with the shows you put it out there, and then it's like people from bum wherever can
yeah.
be like, oh, this sounds cool. Let me check this out, and they can get whatever.
Well, and I mean that was a huge draw for me, because there is no theater here. I
Oh,
mean, there's a small community theater in San Jose, but that's 5.5 hours away. There's
sheesh,
another one up in Tamarindo, which is like 5.5 hours away.
sheesh.
There's nothing like that here at all. So,
Then you say you have a cinema there, right?
oh no, in my town?
I
Oh
thought you said you.
no,
Oh,
no, 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 no,
I
no,
thought I heard you say something
no.
about a cinema or something.
No, she said
Yeah.
when she goes to the cinema, she has to go for like a 5-hour drive.
I have to go into
Oh,
when we go into San Jose, a lot of times we try to gauge it so that we can catch a movie that night. And you'll love this. You know what it costs for two adults to go to a modern theater? Now I will say it's in English. It's exactly what you're seeing in the same time you're seeing it too. The subtitle is down below in Spanish.
Mhm.
That's the only thing you can't get away from. Two adults. Do you know what it costs to go see a film?
like 250.
It's $4 each. $8.
Yeah,
Ooh, what is that? I hear a new animal.
Oh, that's a gecko.
That's
Geckos.
they're that
Geck-
loud.
Geckos. Oh, they're so loud. They
Oh.
chirp.
I
Yeah,
had no
that's
idea.
yeah. I mean, that's a gecko about this big, and they chirp. They. I don't do their noise very well. I don't do their
I
noise.
thought
good.
I thought they talked in an Australian accent. Like
Geckos. No, and you know what? They don't blink.
they lick their
Ever?
eyes.
Oh,
They
that's
lick
right.
they don't have
Okay.
eyelids.
Yeah, they lick their
And
eyes.
every time I watch that cartoon and that little bastard blinks, I go, "You're not a real gecko."
You also
You
realize
lie.
he's standing upright and talking, right? So I mean,
That doesn't matter. It's the eyelid thing. That is where they
she's
lost
mad.
me.
She's
what you
mad
have a
that the
problem.
fact that's what she's upset about.
That is where they lost me. They lost me on the eyelids. Yes.
That's hilarious.
And what car insurance do you have down there?
We do have car insurance. We do have.
And do you have Geico?
No, they call it INS, and I don't know what that stands for.
Doesn't matter. You have to have.
Insurance, something or other, but it's sort of state controlled. It's sort of, yeah, it's, um, the really good loud animal here though is the howler monkey.
Yeah.
The howler monkey is the second
Them
loudest.
bastards are loud. I know that.
Second loudest decibel land animal, just behind the bull elephant.
Oh,
Wow.
really?
Yeah.
I mean, I know I've seen howlers at the zoo, and those they are loud.
Oh, they are
They got them
so
big old
loud.
pouches under there. Yeah,
Ooh,
storing
they're
that
loud.
air. Yeah,
But they're sweet. They're really cool monkeys. We really enjoy them, and we purposefully plant trees we know they like.
I was going to ask, do they roll up on your house?
No, they're very shy. They very rarely ever hit the ground.
yeah.
They literally stay in trees all the times.
Because they got them long arms too.
Yeah, they're a very gentle. They're all vegan, and they're a very gentle monkey, as opposed to those little white face ones. You know, the ones you see in the movies all the time with the white face.
The tamarin. Is that what they are?
Capuchin.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The ones that people keep as animals sometimes.
Yeah.
What was that? The one on Friends.
Yeah, Outbreak too.
Outbreak. I was trying to keep it fun, you know.
Well, they're not nice.
Oh, little bastards, huh?
Yeah, they really are. They will come down and steal anything shiny, cell phones,
snap.
sunglasses. They're little thieves, and they're also like if you had a really small puppy or a really small kitten, and they could corner it. Yeah, they'll eat meat. So they're not good, and they throw their poop when they're mad at you, and they're not our favorite monkeys. But we have two big dogs, and so they keep them away.
At bay.
They do.
And are you allowed to have sidearms or anything, and you could just shoot them out of the trees?
No. You know we have like really heavy duty slingshots.
Nice.
Yeah. This one monkey, he was trying to get in. We cut down about 100 pounds of bananas every 10 days. So we have them when they're not quite ripe yet, but you got to cut them down because they're starting to fall. We hang them up close to the house in a tree, in a big garbage sack, right? To try to ripen up a little bit. And these two capuchins they were on it, man. They were going to get into that bag. They were going to get those bananas. That was all there was to it. And we're slingshotting them, and the dogs are barking, and they got really mad. I mean, they were showing their teeth, and they were like, ah! They were like arguing with us. And I finally got in a really good shot. I know everybody thinks I'm awful now. I'm like mean to animals. Got in a good shot, and it kind of finally spooked him away. And this one monkey took this huge jump from one tree to another, and he missed.
Oh no!
He hit the ground. I got a video of it, and I'm like, oh my God, he fell, because they never fall. They're monkeys. But luckily the dogs were in another part of the yard, because they'll kill him. So he scampered up. It didn't hurt him.
Yeah.
He scampered up and just.
Oh, I'm sure he was hurt. But...
Oh yeah, he was gonna show you.
Damn, I know. And he goes swinging off into the jungle, chattering his worst monkey cuss words at me. He was so mad.
Son of a mother.
He was mad. Yeah. No, everybody carries machetes too, you know.
Well, you never know when you're going to come across a drug smuggler, right?
A snake, a path you want to cut through that. It's just like a normal thing for everybody to have a machete hanging off their pant leg or
Just
attached to their.
overgrown jungle.
It's just it's just the tool of the jungle, you know.
Yeah.
It takes a little getting used to though when you first start.
Make
And-
sure.
and in total,
As
it's
a
like, how
TSA
long have you been in there?
TSA member, I would like to let you know: do not carry that in your bag.
No.
Yeah.
That will not make it
That
through.
will not make it. If you put it in your checked bag, yeah, it should be fine. But
I do really well with y'all. Yeah, I do.
in your carry on, don't
I
do
know I know what to put in and what not to put in, and I
Hey.
do.
it. Sorry,
That's
What
one
is
of you
that?
guys.
that is a car.
Oh,
Oh, is that a motorcycle?
his boxes are about to fall over.
Wow, that was crazy. No, I dropped my phone.
Yeah, I did not think that was coming from Kaz. So
No,
Yeah.
no,
No motorcycles out
no,
here.
no. We're out in the jungle.
Welcome
Sometimes.
to the jungle.
Sometimes we hear a little bit of, people that are building around us and stuff. You can hear it, but not. It's not close. No, nice and quiet.
Man,
Lots of stars.
If you just listen, you hear the stuff in the background. It hurts.
Mhm.
That's
Do you ever see the Starlink satellites?
I haven't seen those yet, but I haven't looked close either. Bet we could.
That's an
we-
interesting one to see go by.
Sometime I have my headphones on, so no. When there's really when we're not that far from the ocean, we're only a 10-minute drive. So when it's really high tide and big waves, you can hear the waves crashing at night. Which is
Nice.
really,
Oh, that's nice.
it's
that's
really
dope.
nice, super nice. I love it. That'll put you to sleep, man.
Hell yeah.
That's some good stuff. Not like Las Vegas.
Nah,
Where all you hear is planes landing all day.
we
T-
actually don't even hear planes land. It's sometimes we hear them fly over, but it's like, yeah.
TSA in Las Vegas has to be pretty crazy.
Jeez, my brother's so loud when he sneezes. No, actually, you know what? So it's not as crazy as people think. Like, yeah, we've seen some stuff, but yeah, no, we've the most, like, I haven't seen anything like super crazy. The one thing is, for some reason, we tell people, like, I'll tell like a guy like to take, like, pull his pants up, and for some reason he'll like lift his shirt up, and I'm like, what do you, no, I said lift your pants up, I didn't say shirt. I don't want to see that, bro. And so like we get some of that. I was telling somebody the other day, we had this guy, and I swear he was a functioning alcoholic, because he came through, looked normal, talked normal, everything else, but when he left, there was just this cloud of just alcohol smell that stayed behind. And like, I was like, I thought I was smelling
Pigpen
it.
in real life.
Huh?
It's like Pigpen in real life.
Yeah, but yeah, kind of. And then like this lady walked up, and she was like, oh. And I was like, cool. I guess I'm glad
It wasn't just you.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
thought I was just crazy, but no, she walked. It literally just kind of stayed right there, and she walked right into it, and she was like, "Oh,
and somebody's gonna sit on a plane with him.
yeah." Well, you know,
Oh,
but at the same time, it's like one of those things where, like, you know, like we will, the occasional star will come through, and that's always fun. You know, but you know, yeah. It's not too crazy. We're definitely not. We're not Atlanta. We're not LAX.
Yeah.
We're not one of those super busy airports. We have our moments, but we definitely are not one of those. Thankfully,
we fly into LAX almost exclusively if we're going anywhere on the West Coast, because we've discovered that flying into LAX and Alaska Airlines right now is the one that's given us the best like prices, and it's nonstop.
right?
And I have a dear friend that lives just in El Segundo, which is just this side of LAX, and she picks us up, and we spend the night with her, and then we fly off the next morning. And it's great because then if you're delayed, it's not a
You got
problem.
you got someplace to stay.
Yeah, and we've just found like we actually save a lot of money because try to book a flight from Costa Rica to Reno, for example,
Yeah.
and
no.
and it's going to come up as like 18 hours.
Yeah, you're making a stop, staying there for a while, and then making another stop. Yeah.
So we just said boo on that. Instead, we'll just fly into LAX, spend the night with our friend, our dear friend, get up in the morning, and be able to shop then too. Frontier, Alaska, Southwest, all these guys that throw these great deals, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we've been doing that, and it's been great. And I will tell you, LAX has been under reconstruction now for 2 years, and it's a mess.
Absolutely.
But the one cool thing that LAX does is every one of those 6 plus Thomas Bradley is 7 terminals has their own TSA.
Yeah.
So you're not in one giant TSA like in Denver, which is.
Oh, I've never flown out of Denver, but I know, because that was I was talking to somebody who actually worked at LAX. One of my coworkers used to work at LAX, and he was like, "Yeah, you had to choose the terminal and time," and so it was like,
yeah,
yeah,
but I mean, it makes TSA really livable. You're 15 minutes at tops.
Oh yeah.
So
Cass, I think you should look into pre-check.
Oh, we do have to do that. We want to get the World Traveler one.
Oh, because that's global entry.
Yeah, we want to get global entry.
Yeah, that'll get you that'll get you pre-check.
Yeah, get you pre-check. We want to get we really want to get global entry.
Shouldn't be that bad. You should be able to get that pretty soon.
When we land in Costa Rica, we're permanent residents.
Right.
We don't have to leave every 90 days, like a perpetual tourist. So we have a card that, well, first of all, we can buy any ticket we want and not prove onward travel.
Right.
And then when we land in Costa Rica and we get through, we get into immigration, where you have to show, we have a choice of lines. We can go to nationals or we can go to visitors.
Oh, nice.
So whoever's shorter.
Yeah. So shorter. That one.
Whatever's shorter, that's the one we pick.
That's the way to go.
Business or pleasure?
Great.
Home.
Yeah. And we've been, like I said, we've been flying Alaska because they've really been throwing out the best deal and it's a nonstop. And 90% of the people that are going to be flying on an Alaska airline coming into Costa Rica are tourists.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, so that national line's going to be short. I can't. I'm still thinking of the poor person that had to sit for an entire flight next to Mr. Smelly Alcohol Man.
maybe it dissipated. I don't know, but like I said, it was
likely.
Yeah,
Not likely.
Like it was a stank.
Hopefully, it was a short flight, whatever it was.
It was a stank. Yeah.
Do you remember what his flight was?
No, I don't remember what it was, but all I remember is that he came through pre-check, and the only reason I even remember that is because it wouldn't have been bad, except where the podium that I was working at, there was like a wall that's glass, like you could see through it, and that's the reason it's stuck there. Because if it was open, yes, but if it had been just like a foot further ahead, you wouldn't have smelled anything. But because it would have dissipated, but it stuck right in that little area.
Good.
That's an interesting thing. Has that really been fleshed out? Have I missed it? The time travel in Murphy's.
Mm-hmm.
Is it like it's travel? So what kind of travel is that?
What?
Do they feel it? Or is it instantaneous? Or
they feel it. I mean, I don't know because Philippe throws up.
That's right.
Yeah, so they feel it. But
you'll recall.
Does it take a long time though?
I would say it's not instantaneous, but it does not take long. It's kind of like you don't have to get up to 88 miles an hour, but there is that moment of transition.
Are you alone?
No, you remember season 1? They fell right out of the sky because it wasn't.
Yeah, but while you're traveling.
Oh, yeah. You get.
Yeah.
One of the nice things about this not being a visual medium is
We don't
that
have to worry about that.
we don't have to address that yet.
Yeah, people can. Yeah, but comic book might have to.
And that's the interesting thing is the conversations I'm having with our comic book artists on. So what will it look like visually? And so it's interesting having to do that because when Joe Bly and I were discussing the sound of the time machine, we had to sit there and discuss what would the machine sound like, what will it do as it's activating and processing. And so similarly, we're doing that now with the visual of the comic book of, well, what will it look like? So it is an interesting question that, again, we just haven't had to address. But I'm sure we will at some point.
Because it's interesting. You think about the old. I've not watched the new one, but what was the one? What was the time travel one where the guy kept popping into the different bodies?
Oh, Quantum Leap?
Quantum Leap.
Yeah, Quantum Leap.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
that was almost instantaneous. Once he left one body, he was jumping into another.
Mm-hmm.
Am I wrong that there was a time travel situation comedy back in the 60s or 70s? Not comedy. Not situation. It wasn't situational comedy. It was an actual hour long.
Well, there was Sliders, which was like it was alternate dimensions.
Yeah, this was way before that. Way before that. Because I remember there was somebody cute in it, and I was like a preteen.
Time Tunnel?
That's it. Time Tunnel. Because that was like this thing,
Yes, the whirling, swirling.
Yeah.
Yes. All of, I think it only had one season, if I remember correctly.
I think you're right.
Going back in time.
30 episodes, 1966, 1967.
Okay, 2. It had 2 seasons. One season of 30 episodes?
Yep.
Holy crow.
That's seasons used to be long.
Yeah, they did.
I mean, even up until the early 2000s, the average
28.
season was like 26, 28 episodes.
Yeah.
And then
now they're like 5.
And then the writers and actors were like, no, we're not going to do more than 15 episodes in a season.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Rod Taylor sat in that wonderful contraption in the time, H.G. Wells's
Time Machine.
Oh, such a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
No, that was a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
That was well conceived.
The book is,
yeah,
obviously what it's derived from, and the book is very well written.
Yeah, but she doesn't. He goes back to be with Weena. Her name was Weena. I don't know. That just popped into my head. I couldn't think of an Orion, but oh no, Weena drops into my head.
Mm-hmm.
In the book though, he goes. Weena disappears, and it's like from one of the Muglocks. No, Mugwalks.
It's one of I know.
Yeah, it's
the blue things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's interesting. Yeah, I'm just kind of
humans.
I'm just kind of musing on time travel and then somebody did mention this at some point, the similarities with Murphy's and the movie with Gerard Butler. Where they go back to medieval time.
You talking about the
Crichton wrote it.
Oh yeah, you're talking. I know.
Timeline.
Yeah, Timeline
with Paul Walker and
Paul Walker. Yeah. I like that movie.
It was a little disappointing from the book, but whatever.
Oh, was it? I didn't read the book. I just saw the movie.
I read the book. I didn't watch the movie because of just what I heard about it. I was like, I don't want to watch it.
I don't think I was aware of this at all.
I was aware of the movie, but I do remember the movie, but I never saw it.
I liked it. I liked it, but I mean, is that shocking to a original Star Trek nerd?
No, not at all.
Not really. Not really.
James is not a Star Trek nerd, so there's that.
Not really. Not really
I
shocking.
mean, I've seen like most of the. I've seen most of Next Generation. I watched like all of Voyager, and that was about it.
How do you not watch? And again, this is
I've seen some of the originals.
how do you not watch Deep Space Nine, the first Black Captain?
Deep Space Nine was boring to me. Like I watched some of it, but it was just boring to me because it was like they didn't go anywhere.
I didn't love Deep Space Nine.
It was just everything. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. Like, I enjoyed that. I was like, that's one of the things that drew me in at first because I was like, oh, nice, Black Captain. But then I was just like, oh, it's kind of boring. They don't go.
I love Deep Space Nine for what it was. I agree. When you look at TNG before that and Voyager concurrently, slightly after that, both of those involve travel, where Deep Space Nine is in one place for the most part. But I love, it's just like James, you're not a huge fan of Andor. I loved Andor.
No, don't get me wrong. I liked Andor.
You got there, but I loved it from the beginning.
Oh yeah, no, it took me a minute, but like that's the thing. Like I like
love
Andor.
the political intrigue and
we haven't finished Andor. It's the same thing. Andor got off to a slow start, and we shelved it. And
no, see, the problem was you got to get through those first 3 episodes.
Yeah, we got to go back. We got to go back.
You gotta like because the first 3 episodes are like the actually, you know what? It drew me in quickly because of the what happens at the beginning of that show, like when he like takes out like those 2 guards, but.
Yeah,
but then it kind of slows down, and then like throughout the season it picks back up to its kind
yeah.
of.
I will give it a shot because you run out of stuff to stream. What are you gonna do? Matthew agrees with you that Deep Space Nine was not good. So.
I mean, and that's the thing.
Wasn't good.
Like,
this is also the guy who thinks James must be a great actor. So.
You know what? You know which one I missed because I was deep in I was working and every night was rehearsal. I mean, I just went from show to show to show to show. Oh, wow. I missed the whole Firefly phenomena.
Oh, see, here's the problem.
I missed all of it.
So here's the thing. You didn't miss it, but because like really I think you can. Well, I got it on DVD, but the problem was with Firefly, it wasn't that it wasn't a good show. It was the problem is they aired it out of order. Like if you look at like because I was looking at the case and it showed the order and it showed that the date that they were aired completely out of order.
So if I stream it, if I find it streamy somewhere, I'll do it in order.
It should be like if it's streaming, it should be in order.
This is also a case of a 1-season series.
Yeah, but that was the problem. That's the only reason it lasted 1 season was because that they aired it out of order. If they had aired it in order, I think people would have been able to keep up with it a little bit better, and it would have been, it'd have been bigger than it was. I mean, hell, they ended up making a movie out of it, Serenity, which was actually an amazing movie. I love that movie.
Yeah, see, I didn't go see Serenity because somebody told me I needed to see Firefly.
No, first, I didn't see Firefly beforehand. I didn't see Firefly beforehand.
See, I get bad information all the time.
Yeah.
I probably can find Serenity too. I mean,
yeah, like I would say, you can watch that after the fact, but I think if you don't have to watch Firefly in order to watch Serenity, in my opinion, at least. I don't know if there's a difference because I got it, but like at the same time, if you want to watch Firefly, try and stream it or something because, like I said, if they actually put it in correct order.
It would have been more popular.
Yeah, I think honestly, it would have been more popular if they put it in the right order.
Well, it had Nathan Fillion in it too, and that
was also when Fox was doing crappy stuff, and Fox was doing weird stuff with just like releasing things and canceling shows even if they were popular.
R.I.P.
Greg the Bunny.
Family Guy,
Yeah, Family Guy got canceled multiple times.
Futurama,
And now it's
Futurama,
coming
funny.
back.
back
Yeah.
again for the 5th time.
Is it the 5th
They've
time?
been canceled 4 times, back for the 5th.
Yeah.
Oh, and then, well, yeah. I mean, the strike is still going on, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
Holy
so there's
crow.
so that's the thing. Actually, me and my brother were talking about that. He's like, "There's not gonna be any of the good shows on." And I was like, "Well, there's some shows that, I mean, this stuff that was finished and that was being edited will air.
Yeah.
They're airing that stuff, but yeah, good. Like, no new Kimmel, no new Fallon, no new what's his name?
Jeopardy.
Oh, I guess Jeopardy does have writers, huh?
It has writers of all his questions.
But or like what was Colbert? So like all those guys have stood in solidarity with their writers.
Yeah,
So
right.
you
So
know.
they're just doing reruns.
Reruns, yeah.
You know, as they should. I had working down in Beverly Hills. A lot of the parents are involved in the industry,
Yeah.
and
Tough.
one of them was really giving me a bird's eye view of what this is like to write for streaming too, for writing for like Netflix.
That's been one of
and
the big
such.
issues right there.
It is, because they contract them, you know, they pop out 10 episodes and they pay them all at once for those 10 episodes, right? And then they're strung along forever to find out whether there's going to be another season.
Yeah.
And the networks want them to stay free in case there's another season,
but I can't.
But there's no money.
I don't guarantee. Yeah, and then the other issue is one of the reasons that the actors did it is because they're not getting, like, how do you get residuals from streaming? I heard a story about the dude. The younger guy on Breaking Bad. They did this movie for Breaking Bad that's streaming, and he's seen almost no money from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. And then on top of that, the gross amount of money those CEOs are making.
Oh yeah.
And it's just, I mean, you know, I was reading the other day that somebody was, she's in it. She's a voice actor. She's a voice actor on one of the cartoon ones. And for the entire first season, she wasn't making enough to pay her insurance premiums for SAG.
What?
She wasn't making enough to pay her insurance because she had a kid.
Yeah.
So she had to pay her kid's insurance, and she wasn't making enough to cover hers and her kids' insurance premiums.
That's ridiculous.
And it got renewed, and so they, you know, she said, well, I'm not doing it if you don't give me more money. So they did up her money, but it's just sad. And you know, I mean, living in LA is like,
yeah, that's expensive in itself.
Whew,
6 figures isn't even enough.
Yeah, it's 6 figures. You're working poor still.
That's a tough time, man. I was really fortunate. I lived with a high school friend for the first 2 years that I was down there teaching, and he rented me a room for practically nothing, and I didn't have to pay for it during the summer because I left my car there, and his college-age daughter used my car. So that was the trade-off, you know, of not having it. Yeah, and then the last 4 years, this dear friend that lives near LAX asked me to come live with her and wouldn't charge me any money.
Even better.
That's my favorite price.
My God. I mean, you know, we just summed that up to some good karma, that something I'd done in my background
back in the days
at that moment had prepped me for that gift.
Yeah.
Because to live in LA and not have any expenses.
That's unheard of.
Yeah.
It was sweet. and I will also say that Beverly Hills
living the dream
pays pretty well.
I'm sure they did better.
Well, they recognize that how hard it is to live there. If they're going to keep, first of all, they want everybody that works there to have a graduate degree.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow. Okay.
for the prestige as well as just the knowledge base, and they recognize that you're not going to live in a house with 6 other people, so they try to make that work.
Yeah.
So, and when you don't pay any rent, it really works great.
Yeah.
Pocket that money.
A whole lot more disposable income.
Do you ever? Yeah, clearly I spend too much time on TikTok. Have you seen that thing where the guy walks up and asks people what the rent is that they pay,
Yeah.
and then can you go and
Can I see it?
Yeah, and they take him into their apartments and show them.
Yeah.
God, New York is pretty.
It's intense. New York is intense.
They're closets.
They're stacked.
Yeah.
They're stacked.
A 200 to 400 square foot studio for
$2,000
at least
or more.
But more. Like I've seen now at the same time, I've seen some people who live in New York very luxuriously in New York, and they're paying but the rent is high.
Tens of thousands of dollars a month.
No, like this was, I mean, it was like she got a deal. She got a super deal. She was cute, so I think that also helped. But like, she got a stupid deal.
Well, if it was rent frozen, maybe it was rent. Maybe it because they do that.
They have the
Rent control.
Rent. That's the word. Rent frozen.
Yeah.
Rent control. Yeah, if it was rent controlled, then maybe so, huh?
Yeah.
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 Whoosh, yeah. I feel for young people that want to buy a house. I feel for them.
Yeah.
Luckily, James and I are both homeowners, and we're in a good place. So
Good for you guys.
yeah,
That's the way to go.
Oh,
Me
yeah,
too.
no. I won't. Yeah. I was like, I'd much like one of the guys that I know, he was like, "Oh, I'm paying cash for my house." And I was like, "Well, do you have that cash?" He's like, "No, but when I get this house, I want to pay cash." So you're going to pay rent again? He was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Bro, his rent is $100, about $100 and something dollars less than my mortgage."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I was like,
just-
"You're stupid."
yeah,
I didn't-
that's stupid. That's stupid.
I
Yeah.
was just like, that's dumb. I'd much rather just pay a mortgage than try it, because if you have the money, cool, then put that money and buy the
Yeah.
house for
Yeah.
cash. But if you don't, you can at least own your own place, so you don't have to worry about it and start building equity, and then you're good. But
Yeah.
what do I
their
know?
own.
Yeah.
All right, I think it's time that we start shutting this thing down a little bit.
We can bring you back and we could talk some more.
Yes.
Well, it was super fun. Thanks for having me. The one thing that's interesting about living in Costa Rica is, we don't necessarily live near a lot of people.
Mhm.
Monkeys?
People.
Well, that's why you've got to make sure to make your way to KaboomCon so that we
I
can
know.
get
Kaboom con! And you can be around people a lot.
I know. I just got to find those shoes and that hair
There you go.
because I gotta be at least 6 foot.
How tall are you now?
I'm about 5'6",
Oh,
so
yeah,
that shouldn't be too hard to get
too
4
hard.
inches. I bet I can get 6'1" out of it.
Get some
And-
platforms.
Yeah, and then in addition to doing, being 6'1", I'll be highly arrogant, which will add a couple inches.
There you go. There you go.
and with the hair teased up, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, big wig. Yeah, yeah.
Made
Well-
from the pool noodles.
This has
Yeah.
been Cash Chandler Art.
Chandler in the building.
Buy art. Buy art from
Yes.
real people. It's a good thing to do for us.
Yes, we do not support AI in any way, shape, or form.
No.
And James, you got anything important to share before we go?
Nah, man. Just if you're in the area, you're not in the area, make sure to make plans to come to Kaboom Con.
You did have to name it that, didn't you? Just for him.
You've got
Had nothing
just
really to do with me.
just shy of a year, 360-ish days until. So
And if you come, you can also celebrate my birthday, because that would
Oh, mine too. Mine's on the 5th.
there we go. There we
Right?
go. That's
See?
why you got to come now.
All the more reason to come.
Yep.
My mother would enjoy that.
Yep.
Well, Kaz, thank you so much for joining us. We will definitely have you back again. I can also announce that next week on this show, we will have Connor Howard.
Yo, Connor Howard in the building.
The announcer for season 2 of Murphy's Inc. will be joining us, who's also worked with us on other properties, such as the voice of Jack R. Abbott.
Yeah.
From Murder by Garlic.
Yeah.
So
and another short story that I'm still waiting to get done. So
someday
it'll be out some point in time. I talked to Tara about that, and so she was like, "I'm working on it. It'll get done when I'm done with this stuff." And I was like, "Cool," because I don't really care about it for me at this point. I just want it for him.
Yes. Well, thank you all for obviously tuning in. We'll be here same bat time, same bat channel next week. Without Kaz, with Connor.
Yeah.
But hopefully Kaz will be there commenting along the way.
Yes, maybe I will.
Yeah.
I'll be hanging out with the fruit bats.
There you go. Don't eat that guano.
Disgusting.
All right. Have a good night. And James, would you mind please shutting it down?
Peace out, folks.
See y'all next week.